Hello and welcome to the Summit Premier League Season Grand Finals, Season 4 Grand Finals. Welcome everyone. Thank you to all who are attendance. Thank you to the players. We're going to have a wonderful series for you today, and I bet that you guys are going to enjoy it. I hope we get to those 5 games, and I really just want to ask Baratel Juan, what are you guys' feelings, expectations? Let me know what you guys think about this series we're going into today.
I'll let Juan go first. I have a bunch of insider info.
Yeah, no, we'll get to that. I don't have a ton. I've casted a couple games from Ganking Private Ryan personally. I know they're a really fun team. They pick a ton of different champions. They have players that play different roles even. I believe it's PPP, and Ryan will switch between the AD carry and the jungle positions. So that's definitely something to look out for. You have a lot of interesting drafts with that. And then you also have Neversaw, who in their last series, he completely popped off for the last 3 games. Played a Nasus, a Vladimir, and a Garen game, dropped double-digit kills in all of them. Just an insane mid player, so hope Mitch can do well today. But Baradel, you can go ahead when you're ready.
Yeah, and I mean, for those that were unfortunate or fortunate enough to sit through my hour and 17-minute video, I feel like the stakes are higher more so than ever. Obviously, Summit, people like to feel themselves a little bit. The egos are there, and rightfully so. These 2 teams have made it to grand finals. But we have recorded for eternity their smack talking on file. So now it's time to see whether or not their mouths, wrote checks that they can't cash themselves with their hands. And it's going to be an epic battle for sure.
A battle that's we're going to be headed right into. But first, before that, we have to get to the draft. So I'm going to go ahead and move it on over. Ganking Private Ryan versus Cyberbullies. Let's head into it.
Let's get
Game 1, baby.
Let's go. All right, nothing quite yet. I'm gonna anticipate, an Olaf ban. So that's pretty interesting from the side of Ganking Private Ryan. I don't know OT Gator may flex into that occasionally. We might see even an Elise ban from their side too to kind of remove that jungle pool proficiency from OT Gator.
Gotcha. Does Briz play Olaf top at all? Because I know that it is a power pick that can steamroll a lot of like the tank matchups, especially, which Brizzy has been playing.
Yeah, I guess that is a pretty apt observation. It kind of just barrels through all the huge amounts of crowd control that Brissy typically likes to bring to the table. Ganking Private Ryan removing Ari from mid to easy is a pretty good move, although Neversaw is also pretty adept at that champion. She's had a couple pop-off games this season alone with that champ, so who knows what that's for. And then the Talia ban definitely going forward, Ryan. It's presuming that he's going to jungle. It's going to be a tough thing to guess because we really don't know until we hit this draft completed.
Right, for sure. I mean, Talia is one of his best champs. It's one that I've seen him pop off on a couple of times, and I think it makes sense to knock that out early. And then I did want to touch on the Ari ban as well. Even if Neversaw's good at it, if they have a different B1 pick that they want to go for, you don't necessarily want Ari R1 R2, so it makes sense to get that out of the way early.
Okay. So the Ivern definitely going for PPP, and then the pivot to make sure that you take a huge power pick away from Ryan, both in ADC and jungle. That's a good move. And they'll grab the Nocturne. And as much as I would like to say that this is assuredly going jungle, we really don't know with this team.
Yeah, you never know with this team. Nocturne top has been touched a little bit, I mean, years ago, but I think it's still an okay pick. It definitely gets a lot of priority early and can allow you to invade. Obviously, Nocturne with the map prio can get massive Rs off, so definitely a big pressure pick to pick up early.
I was about to say, I think that we can even see a world or a reality in which Neversaw goes Nocturne, just goes for that kind of early game insurance policy with the shield and the lifesteal from Umber Blades, and then come 6 just be an overgrowing monster in terms of pressure with just the paranoia across the map. But we'll see Vi and Leona paired in tandem, so they are going for trigger pulling, and I mean, it's Cyberbullies classic style.
Yeah.
OT Gator on the Vi. We have Soap on Leona. Hopefully he'll be doing more gameplay than typing this series, but we'll have to see.
I mean, for sure, Vi and Leona, just a classic CC combo. They can run around the map together, and if you get ganked by a Vi and Leona, it is so hard to live as the Yuumi gets picked up here by GPR. We've seen it played last series. They did play it with the Yasuo bot, so I'm interested to see what they're going to pair it with. Something like, could we even see a Sivir Yuumi? Like, I hope not. I think Sivir Yuumi is so insanely boring, but I don't know what other champs really pair well besides like Ezreal, maybe?
I think it'd have to be more towards Ezreal. Sivir doesn't really fit Ryan or PPP's champ pool, but it will be Xayah. So that's going to be a pretty safe lane there in the bottom. Although, you know, whenever I see Yuumi and then any sort of hard crowd control on the enemy team, you kind of guarantee that if you land that one control on whoever's Yuumi's linked to, it's a 2-for-1 special.
Yeah, for sure. And then it also makes it hard for Yuumi to jump off and block skill shots like she can do in other matchups, because if she gets DC'd, it resets her W cooldown, and she's not able to jump back onto her teammate for like 6 seconds, in which time she almost always died. So very scary to hop off of. I mean, that's a Luton normal pick. He is so proficient at these late game hyper carries, had quite a few pop-offs very games. I think it's a relatively standard pick to see from him.
Yeah, I'm just trying to formulate where this team wants to be pulling the trigger. You know, some teams are really good at diving under towers. Some look for those fights, you know, in the jungle corridors. But Zeri, you know, even with the threat of a Nocturne ultimate coming through, as long as they play towards walls in jungle or otherwise, they should be relatively safe. And
yeah, I agree.
Poppy Band's going to keep the dash removal or denial at a low pace, especially with Talia being a tandem ban for that. Camille being removed from top side. I guess with how much pressure and priority Cyberbullies want to have in the top lane, we'll see probably a top lane pick at the very last stage of the draft if we can.
Yeah, I think it's pretty standard to save your top laner for R5, and then on top of that, Camille is just a very solid pick in the meta right now. She doesn't have a lot of really bad lane matchups, and her bad matchups are also typically countered by other champions. So very scary to leave that open for R5. As the Ornn getting banned out here.
Yeah, it might just end up being like a Brissy Malphite look here. Although I do know he has some other champions he can play. I'm not going to reveal them until they show themselves, because he has been practicing some extra stuff recently.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see like a Renekton, maybe a Zac top come out, just some sort of standard tank bruiser that wins lane early, especially with the Nocturne. Like when you have this Nocturne pick, you want to get these top laners, these mid laners that shove in waves and allow him to pressure the map, right? So I think we're going to see something towards that side.
I wonder if even Shen's a good look, right? Because then you have Nocturne delivery system, you have double ways to kind of go for instant return and re-engage. We'll have to see, but Orianna being removed from mid 2EZ's pool, and now we'll see, ideally or most likely, the mid pick from Cyberbullies and see what they want to lean forward with. And then, yeah. I'm excited, though. It's going to be Jace.
That's a flex pick. It can go both top and mid.
Yeah, that is a flex pick.
A really, really solid lock in if both players can proficiently play it.
Yeah, and it's something that, like, if they have deep vision, especially in where Nocturne wants to launch, for ult from, that spell shield as he's going on the way could be just intercepted with that shock blast if aptly aimed.
Yeah,
I will
say
the response for that.
That's Tahm Kench getting locked in.
Okay,
a classic proceed tank blind.
It's a good one too. I mean, we saw last season Lord Kobayashi just pop off in finals on the Tahm Kench, just an ever-living thorn in the side of their opponents. So as long as Brissy doesn't get too mitigated, they might be able to get themselves out of lane. Again, the Tahm Kenshin to Jace matchup, I'm not too familiar with. I'm sure you could delve into that a bit, but the Smolder,
Smolder
God.
mid. I mean, I don't know what their team
Why
wants
are
to
we
do,
not
though,
surprised though?
Zaya's anti-dive, Nocturne is full dive, Tahm Kench's peel, Smolder is more on the peel side. It seems like they have a relatively inconsistent team comp here.
True. Although I will say that I think, as opposed to Nocturne going to be on the more proactive cusp in terms of ganking, I think that what their goal is to have the jungler for ganking Private Ryan to be in proximity to ult as a response to OT Gator, as he typically has kind of the first move on the map as a jungler. And then beyond that too,
true, yeah.
Paranoia is kind of the worst crowd control in the game. You'll see Nocturne CC score be like 1 billion at the end of the game, because not being able to see, even if you are communicating with your team, having your eyes turned off, it kind of sucks. It really does.
That's very true, yeah. That's a really good point. I mean, Nocturne being able to counter gank the Vi anytime they don't know where he is a very scary thing. It has a lot of threat. If you don't know where the Nocturne is, do you go for the gank anyways because of this counter gank threat? Right. Especially when you have the Yuumi providing shields, the Xayah with her R, Tahm Kench with his shields. It makes it very, very scary if you can't immediately blow somebody up on the Vi combo.
Yeah, and feeding into the typical GPR style of, hey, Bai never saw as much time as she needs to scale, especially on that Smolder. That champ, I don't think is very fair, but it could be because I'm Gold 1 peaker. I don't know. It just doesn't seem right for a champion to get to a certain point in a game where they just get to insta-kill people at a certain point.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Smolder is very, very strong when played well, and when, like you said, when given time to scale to get to that point where you are Thanos. I will say there are a lot of threats for the Smolder. Jace, I mean, obviously just a lot of burst damage. Syndra, if you get hit by a Syndra combo in her R, you can get bursted. Vi R, Leona, I mean, DC, she can just flash stun you. There are a lot of ways for this Smolder to get caught out. So I think we're going to have to see Neversalt positioning very, very well, even with this Tahm Kench R with the Yuumi, to be able to survive the engage coming from Cyberbullies.
Yeah, and something to consider too, they picked Tahm Kench into Zeri, so his gray health shield is kind of instantly moot, right?
Yeah, well, I don't believe Zeri steals shields anymore, no? I think that was
I don't even know anymore. But, I mean, we have another opinion. What do you think? I was like...
that's not my job right now. You guys are the caster. You're supposed to have opinions, all right?
That's fair. That's fair.
Keep moving, all right? But I will say...
You can still have an opinion, man.
You're right. I will say, looking at the giraffes, I do kind of agree with what we're saying about how the Nocturne for the side of GPR seems to be kind of out of position in regards to what the rest of the team wants to do. They don't really have like a let's run at you kind of comp. I mean, until at least later in the game, they kind of want to scale. Like you look at the Smolder, the Xayah, the Tahm Kench champions aren't really what I think of when I think of like mid-game, early game fighting. And so I am kind of concerned about that aspect. See what CB can maybe use that opportunity in their draft with the Vi, Jace, Syndra to maybe get a lot of leads in the mid game. But we'll just have to see how it plays out. And before we head on out, I want to say, Baratel, Juan, what are your expectations? Who do you guys think has the draft edge going into this game?
Whoa,
I'm gonna give it to
this
Cyberbullies
game-
personally.
Yeah, I have to as well. Although I will say, if there's a shining moment, it's the fact that GPR still somehow manages to sneak Smolder through draft phase, and I mean that's been a catalyst for success for them so far, and it could continue to be the case. But I think that Cyberbullies has a more fleshed out plan, or they were able to check off more boxes on their plan list for this draft.
Right. Well, in that
Yeah, for
case,
sure.
it looks like we'll just have to see whether or not Cyberbullies can cut off this dragon before he can get too far ahead and sprout his wings, or will GPR just run over the game after making it through. So let's go ahead and move it on to a break right before the next game.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 1 of this Grand Finals for the Summit season. For those that missed it or the entire season somehow, it's Ganking Private Ryan versus Cyberbullies. I'm Baratel, I'm joined by Juan, and this is going to be a spicy fight. Are you ready?
I'm very ready. I do want to mention it is Ryan on the Nocturne, it is PPP on the Xayah. Pretty standard for them, but it is something to call out because, like we touched on, they do switch it around a lot.
Yeah. Definitely. And you did kind of astutely observe that in our little break. Anything weird that you see in terms of items or keystone runes?
The Vi Hail of Blades is really interesting, actually. I believe he
Yeah.
typically goes for Conqueror, or even we'll see an Aftershock sometimes when you just want to be that engaged threat. But Hail of Blades, we might see something like an Eclipse Vi or even a full lethality Vi, just playing to completely one-shot I'm assuming the Smolder the entire game.
It's
So,
hey, I'm able to
threat.
press R and do that full combo. Absolutely. And OT Gator, not one to shy away from being responsible for doing damage. So it's going to be a good one to see on their front as well. I do like seeing Jace in the top lane, as you mentioned, a pretty good flex pick and draft, but I'm excited. I know Brissy and Briz are two players that eagerly want to see who's the better top laner in this matchup.
For sure. I think Jace has a hard time into the Tahm Kench until about 2 items, and you need to stay ahead until that point. So it's on Briz to stay ahead and be able to keep that lead for himself.
As long as Jace is kind of in the front, would you say he has an advantage due to his Hammer Form E stopping Tahm Kench from dashing and kind of abyssal diving out of the way?
A little bit. It makes it very gankable, right, if you get the Tahm Kench low. The biggest thing for Jace in that lane is just to avoid the tongue lashes from the Tahm Kench the entire time, because if he hits those, it has missing health healing. It's just like Darius Q. It is so hard to lane when the Tahm Kench is sustained and you don't.
Well, got the root here on the Luden. Dodges out, but he will dash a little bit forward. A fantastic trade from the bot lane from GPR, and not so much of a good trade for Neversaw. But again, stacks are stacks on Smolder, and the name of the game is trying to get to 225 as fast as possible. Luden's just getting
falling
shoved
very
out.
low there.
Yeah,
that's
huge amount
crazy
of
seeing
poke.
Cryo coming out early. Yeah.
A little afraid. I mean, Xayah apparently not one to shy away from damage. I potentially see the culprit, Juan. That man has about, 150 less health because of his first item.
Yeah, for sure. Going call is very scary over the D-Blade, especially into the Yuumi Xayah, who have a lot of early range and poke, as we see Ryan.
Ryan knows
Warding the
something's
bush here.
up. Gets the ward out. I don't know if he was able to see him before he went into Pixel Burst on River, but sniffs out the invade, protects his blue buff. Neversaw not in a great position to roam over, so it's a good look from OT Gator knowing that, but not able to collapse just yet. They do have a... Wait, they are still sniffing around. Ryan's just so patient and waiting, has this vision up, knowing that the blue buff's going to be the first look, and again, try not to get too far behind early game, kind of the name of the game for Cyberbullies. It's a good way to keep patient and reserved.
Yeah, for sure. It was really nice of Ryan. I'll hold that thought.
It's gonna be Neversaw TP back over. OT Gator going greedy, gets the blue buff. Will Vault Breaker and go for the flash, but that'll be the consolation prize for the side of Ganking Private Ryan. A blue buff gone, but not too much to completely stop the level 6 gaining from Nocturne quite yet.
Yeah, OT Gator definitely just overstepping there, as they know that Neversaw has TP and is likely to use it to help protect Ryan's jungle. And burning your flash on Vi early without a gank is Ryan.
Briz is rotating. It's a triple collapse. Here comes the shock force blast into Ryan. Gets the flash out. He'll spell shield the damage and get a flash of his own for his own greed. Already both teams is just going mano a mano, going blow for blow. Rotations aplenty, and that's exactly what we like to see.
For sure. I mean, we love to do this early fighting, especially with this Smolder pick. I'm such a big fan of fighting early rather than just waiting for it to come online. And then both junglers there just overstepping, trying to invade, trying to cheese out leads, and both losing their flash for it.
It's the way of the jungler, really, at the end of the day, right? I
mean, if you're not flipping an invade level 4, are you really playing jungle?
True. I can totally beat him. Oh, crap. He's actually beating me up big time.
Yeah.
Do you think that the, for lack of better terms, Pokemon that the junglers have picked are pretty weird? We see Scorch on Ryan, and we see the Squirtle, if you will, onto OT Gator.
Yeah, I think the Scorch Claw from Ryan is pretty standard for Nocturne. After the green one got knock down quite a few pigs. The shield and tenacity gives are not that valuable anymore, and the Scorch Claw pup gives you some bonus for damage and gives you a slow, so it's essentially a free red buff proc when you auto somebody for that first time, which Nocturne really values. It allows him to confirm his fear on ganks. Really good follow up when he Rs. I think the blue one coming out from Vi is a little odd. Does help her traverse the map a little bit faster, but with her ability to queue over walls, I'm not really sure how necessary it is over going something like more damage, or even just, again, the extra shield, the extra HP bar from the green.
Luden going to be the target, gets Prowling Projectile into a couple autos, and the rip back! That will be first blood for Ganking Private Ryan. They're not done fighting quite yet. Soap a little pissed off about that one. But all in all, a good look, and maybe a little bit of an overstep from Luden.
I mean, no thumbs burned from PPP there either. He just steps up, full confidence. Yuumi hits the Q, and he burns Lune down. Lune doesn't flash, Lune doesn't barrier. I guess he didn't think he was going to die, but just a fantastic confidence play coming out from the bot of GPR here.
Yeah, I guess maybe people are too conditioned to say Xayah has to wait for 3 feathers to pull back. She absolutely does not. She can just do the Q for the 2 feathers, get that damage on them, and then from there make a move. But yeah, a look here from OT Gator in the top lane. Brissy will stare death in the face and say, I'm just going to finish this recall. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Brissy taking a little bit of a
and
bad
engage here bottom. Proton Plat Player will be the look now. Soap finds an angle. Xena's Blade connecting, but they are not able to stop that Xayah just yet. And in the top side of the map, OT Gator does push Brissy out of lane. Knows that they don't have TP, so Grubs will be the first objective here off the map.
For sure. Nocturne doing the dragon while OT Gator picks up the Grubs. A decent objective trade. I think dragons are really good, especially for having a smolder, giving yourself that extra time, stalling out the game as long as you can. But Nocturne not 6 yet, really not able to do anything overly proactive here.
No, does have Tiamat. Hope is kind of hyper clear mentality for the foreseeable future to get that 6 on lock, but it's a good dragon for them to have, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Cloud Soul's always nice. I mean, who doesn't like out of combat movement speed? It's just a really useful stat. You know, it's simple sometimes.
Luden in a very similar position. Yeah, they're looking a little dastardly. Going to go for the feather pull through. Goes for the ultimate. The feather recall. The barriers here. He uses the summoners. But the feathers get called back anyway and rip through his health bar. A second blood and a 2-0 for Proton Plat Player. This guy's stepping up so far.
For sure. PPP taking it personal as never saw possibly in the mid here.
Never saw in the targets of OT Gator, but can't get in range. Their spider sense never saw it. Somehow has a gifted one. That premonition knows that they were the look and able to back up on the other side of the lane. So they're good there. But man, it is heating up in the bot lane.
It is 2v2 kills. Just so well played from PPP there, knowing that he has this IR, knowing that he has Yuumi R, and going for that dive. Leona, Soap on Leona was just a few steps back and wasn't able to help protect his Zeri.
Yeah, the exhaust used, the barrier was used, but Flash still conserved for Luden. And I mean, I guess holding on to that summoner, hopefully we'll buy them a save later on, but so far it's holding on to it's cost them nothing but time in the gray screen. And another one too! A triple root! And there goes the Nocturnal! Are you scared yet? Because you should be, as Ryan slides in. A third kill and an unanswered one to the team that should be on the passive side!
Unbelievable that they're picking up a third kill onto Luton here as Brizzy's walking away.
Easy flash Q, scatter of the week, goes for the ulti combo. That's a tank, my friend, and a big one at that. Brizzy just walks it off. Tower plates will be their consolation prize, but is it really worth it? We're now seeing almost, yeah, a 1000k gold lead in under 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I mean, you're putting a Tom Kench behind. Does the champ really care?
No.
If he gets ganked and gets pushed off, like, he will still be a very tanky cat.
Oh, flash Q combo. Here comes the World Breaker as well as the cease and desist, but we'll get never saw locked up, but the damage is done, and mid to easy. They blew their whole load on TK, and Brizzy was able to just walk it off. They don't have any other ammo in the chamber.
And I do want to call out, never saw on the Smolder is staying even with CS against the Syndra, who is such a long-range bully in this early game. Really a solid Smolder early game so far, whereas typically we'd see the Smolder down, you know, 10, 20 CS even.
Hey, you'd see something, and truth be told, you got to kind of look for something. Oh my gosh, another dive Proton Plat player is 3-0-1 here in this bottom lane, and Luden is not having not only no fun, but also zero resources. What's so typical in terms of Cyberbully style, the kind of omniscient, omnipresent OT Gator, he has yet to see any successful gank.
Yeah, picking this Vi and not getting any early ganks off, especially Nocturne being able to hit 6 and get one off and get a kill, and Vi still at that 0-0-0 scoreline is not great, especially since they picked the Vi into the Nocturne.
Abyssal Voyage, here comes the Force Gate as well. Gonna go for an engage and a trade and a knockback, but that's your whole load. And it's Ryan forcing a TP here into the top lane. It's gonna be mid to easy. They don't know he TP'd quite yet. He could be in a good position to get a nice cheeky 3v1 tower dive. This tower not long for the world. Brissy, I don't think can afford to stay. Volt Breaker gonna go through, gonna connect, gonna go for the 3-hit combo. Denting blows a huge amount of damage, but again, he's still a tank. He's gonna get Volt Breakered again, the flash forward, and finally, the feasting style of this top lane jungle duo will finally pay out. Brissy will be sent back to a gray screen, almost getting the same thing that happened in mid lane, but here comes a Nocturne ult! And Ryan will just pick off the easy pickings.
Yeah, really had to play there for Ryan to stay around and to pick off the Jace on the back end of that play. But this Jace is getting quite ahead in gold, up 35 CS and an entire tower at 12 minutes. That is a scary,
trying
scary
to block
man.
out, stops Neversoft from rotating! And a great look! Yes, of course, Ryan will get one of the grubs, but they'll face a 1v2 situation here shortly. Brissy does have teleport, so it is available here as he is up. He's actually just walking lane. Here comes the TP now from the top laner. It's going to be Jace joining the fight. The Force Blast to take yet another chunk of change for him. And the grubs will be their own prize as well. 4-2, I believe. Brissy now not long for the world, not having any sums, and the Abyssal Voyage will not be available off cooldown quite yet either. Mid to easy will take his own paycheck, and now things are heating up. A little bit of an overextension from the top side of Ganking Private Ryan when their bot lane's so ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the defender of tomorrow is looking like the attacker of today, picking up another kill and an assist on that Jace. What a fantastic TP on the back end of that play. And also never saw
no minions. Under tower, Luden's going to look for an angle. He's going to go for the feathers. He has 2 to rip back, but just not in position to do so. Luden now knowing that they need to back the heck up. But man, being fought and losing under your tower never feels good.
No, always a terrible feeling. Neversaw their Smolder did finally die, as you called out, walked into a bush, face checked it. But that is a pretty feels bad, as this safe early game is now falling apart, as the Syndra, the counterpart, is now 2-0-1 with the Luden's companion completed.
Yeah, Luden's companion, the Glock, if you will. It's going to be a big dive. Soap trying to go in a 1v2 situation with a blinking health bar tower, waiting for reinforcements. Luden will be here shortly, but the Solar Flare will be there to buy time. He'll force out the flash, and that'll be what they take away from that gank. Soap getting a little bit too big for their britches, I think.
Getting washed, even, one could say.
Whoa, getting beat 2v2 in the bot lane. Ryan there just to add insult to injury. Dragon will be the turn, though. It's a Mountain Drake, and the solo one for this map. Either team could really use those stats. Soap is exclusively for his hyper-aggressive playstyle. That'll help keep him alive a little bit. And we see my most favorite soul on the game. Inferno, you got to have Inferno Soul, and that's going to get big, chunky damage out for either team who can get that on lockdown.
For sure. Very scary, especially on the side of, on red side here for Cyberbullies.
Right.
Jason the Syndra with Infernal Soul do a lot of upfront poke damage.
Yeah, you
so
can
I think
have
it's on GPR to make sure you shut that down.
Absolutely. You can have a full, like, uninteracted combo with Scatter the Weak Q from Syndra and then, like, Jace Shock Blast. It'll be off your screen and you'll still die, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, very scary.
Although they do have a lot of tools for protection. You know, Ryan can field one skill shot. You know, Neversaw's got some hypermobility. Proton Plat player both with the Yumi available, as well as the ults, and then Tom Kent can kind of swallow up who's going to be the target for that. So maybe, I don't think it's by design, but it is fortuitous in that regard. Although Proton Plat player, he does have a lead. He's going to go in, he's going to get the feather fullback. Soap will walk in and save Mitsu Easy's endangered life, but oh, and here comes the emote as well from Jerboas is emoting on Yumi, which is like the most cringe thing because you're not doing anything, but whatever.
Yumi players always type the most. I don't know how
For
often you play
sure.
with Yumi players, but they emote, they type. They are
Yeah, I'm
not
surprised
normal in the
Soap's not a
head.
Yumi player, to be honest. That dude's a straight yapper. Full combo
And
onto
maybe
the
he used to
wave.
be. You never know.
True, true. A big shield. He's trying to thin the wave, but Proton plat player and Jerboas is kind of getting hyper accurate. A sniper. Here comes a walk into 3 members from Cyberbullies, and they will try to bully the health bar to non-existence. The protection combo. Here's that re-engage we talked about during draft. It's going to be a huge one. The mom gets called out, and she's pissed for bullying my son. You go straight to hell. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. They're not done yet, though. There's reinforcements being scattered across both teams as the remaining members just linger in. Just a 0 for 0, but you can see how eager teams are using their resources and their willingness to do so.
I do want to call it. It was a 1-for-0 actually.
Sure,
Syndra did die.
Syndra died. Poor mid 2
But-
easy.
Yeah. I mean, a really, really good counter engage coming out there from GPR. Like we talked about, the Nocturne ult coming in, countering the Vi engage. And then Syndra falling, especially as she and Jace are the 2 strong members. Jace also expending his flash on the back end of that play. You guys need to stay alive and keep your summoners as best you can. So GPR really punishing that and getting a big win on top of that kill.
We saw how eager, the eagerness of both teams to use resources is apparent, but the execution of such, I mean, we saw how quick Ryan was able to join that fight. We had mentioned his whole directive is to stay in proximity of the action and just ulti when necessary, and for reasons just like that.
For sure. I mean, especially with the Stride Breaker completed now, that is a scary. I don't know what he is, like a demon, a shadow.
He's a
But
shadow
regardless,
demon. He's fear
a shadow demon,
incarnate.
perfect. Yeah, fear incarnate. With that Stride Breaker active, that makes his R even more guaranteed. We talked about the Scorch Claw earlier. That is a lot of slows as soon as he gets on top of you, and it is so hard to get away. And his E at rank 5, I believe, is a 2.5 second CC. You are as good as dead if that goes off.
It's not a bunch of fun for an ADC player, and I mean, although Luden is taking a brief reprieve from being the main target from GPR, I guarantee if he steps out of place, it'll be only moments before his health bar is completely removed.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, he has the static shift picked up, so he can push out waves a little bit safer, but the Xayah is still at 2 items.
Right.
Like, what can you do?
A whole
if
item,
you're alone,
or I guess
you
a half
just
item
can't
ahead.
Compete.
Beyond that, you're noticing the static shiv on the Zeri. Do we see anything else that might indicate a weird diversity from a typical build path for these champs?
Everything else seems pretty standard. Smolder going for the Spear of Shojin first is not super normal, but it's not unheard of either in these competitive 5v5s. Spear of Shojin just gives you some of that extra HP, extra survivability, which can help a lot when you're getting ganked by a Vi, or if you might get caught out by a random Syndra stun.
Right. I do have to commend Proton Plat player for the Xayah pick, or whoever picked Xayah in draft. It's pretty nice because you're able to just set up those long range feathers and just kind of instant clear waves. It doesn't look like Cyberbullies are getting much of a opportunity to execute what their entire draft wants to do, and that's to pull triggers.
Yeah, I completely agree. GPR is doing a really good job of shutting down any engage coming out from Cyberbullies. And honestly, I want to see Soap start roaming around a little more on this Leona, start going for some riskier invades, start making plays. Because it's a 0-0-0 scoreline, which isn't the worst, but I want to see Soap try to be a little bit more proactive, try to roam around with the Vi and get some kills going for his team. Yeah,
especially on Leona, right? You do have such a easy time setting up that 1-2 punch combo, just like this here. Gristy, not long for the road, will be forced to flash, but the ultimate from just mid to easy, the power overwhelming is truthfully that. Vi looking to go for an engage onto Nocturne, get the smite away. Ryan will be able to secure his red buff and walk into the other side of the jungle, but bot pressure and a kill going over, they're able to pull the trigger like they want to.
For sure. I mean, even more gold going into the pocket of his face. And while they do have a lot of people that can block skill shots, they can't do it forever.
Yeah,
and those shot blasts are going to start hurting as Jace is approaching his 3rd item. And on top of that, he is a massive split push threat, and nobody can really match that. It's going to take Smolder a long time before you have the wave clear to match the Jace. in the meantime, he's just going to be pushing in waves, shooting balls at you, and taking towers.
Yeah, we just saw actually how easy the damage delivery is for Cyberbullies. I mean, it was one Scatter the Weak combo, and even with Brissy having Flash, the tank was gone. So the damage is definitely there. They just have to land it, especially with that opportunity locked in on the Jace. I do wonder what that third item will be. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, any sort of
Tough.
lockdown is good for a Jace because of how squishy the enemy team is. Like, Nocturne, Zaya, Tomcat is the only one that can even take a Shock Flash to the face without worrying about it, as Riz could be a little cut out here with Ryan hovering with the Nocturne R right above him.
Ryan in range, and they do know that he's not available. I wonder if they see the pull from Nocturnal and they confirm it's bottom, I wonder if they just look for Baron. Oh, we're going to have to find out. Here comes the knockup. The shield is here. Mom's called out, but it will completely whiff. He will be feared at a hyper speed, and unfortunately, not even be able to turn his own. Going to be an engage onto TK. Brissy will try his best to get himself to safety, but there's no damage following up OT Gator quite yet. He will be swallowed up. He'll be spit back out. The power overwhelming here, but the shield will keep himself barely alive. There's a TP in the mid lane, but the rest of the reinforcements are here. The only opportunity Cyberbullies had to maybe get that an equal 1-for-1 across the map is completely moot.
Yeah, a great TP from Neversaw coming out there just to shut that play down, to scare everyone off. I mean, she TP'd in and just hit minions. As we could see a Baron coming out. Nope, they're just clearing vision.
They're clearing vision.
I do want to mention.
Oh, go ahead.
We saw the Stridebreaker come through on the Nocturne, and even though Jace flashed, he still got slowed and that fear confirmed, and he died.
Yep.
Such a good item.
Yeah, I am happy it's returned to its almost former glory. It's a great re-addition to the game, especially with it being a team mat item, of course. Another invade opportunity. Otigator looking for blood, still wants something, finds Nocturne and just sent scurrying away, just too afraid of the reinforcements and what could be to come. Brissy as well backing things up. We do see Briz in the bot lane, kind of unanswered currently. There will be a requirement for someone on GPR to go back down there eventually. It's going to be Brissy, of course.
Yeah, Brizzy on lane catching duty. Unfortunately, not fun to match pace, but it's what you have to do. Brissy is down 2 levels, so we should see him try to stay in lanes a little bit, especially with his TP up to catch up to the Jace, who is 2 levels up on you, but in the meantime, he's stuck in the bot hitting minions. His face is rotating mid, possibly got out here.
Big engage. Oh my gosh, threat detected is going to be completely detected and doomed. A huge amount of rotation, but it's going to be a little bit too far to advance. And dive in the back line, and it will be Luden dive himself to safety as Ryan's the one to overstep a re-engage from CB. A Vault Breaker. You may have eaten my Leona, but you're going to be eating nothing but damage now, Brissy. And it's going to be a 3-course meal. Good thing you have room for dessert. Never mind. The dessert and the icing on top of the cake is Mid-2E's little sprinkle of damage to take him out. What do they get at the end of it, though? Nothing. No talent. Picking up. It's going to be Neversaw. Popping in, popping out, and pop goes the Weasel. A double kill. And uh-oh, alert. Smolder's at 225 stacks. Uh-oh.
Yeah, ring the bell. This is a scary dragon.
Sound the alarms.
Like his mother.
Oh, a TP.
Briz TP back in.
Briz is pissed. He's like, I don't want to be shut down and do nothing. Gonna go forward. Goes for the home TP advantage. He's gonna try and get something, but the prowling projectile is gonna hit the shot blast. Yeah, boom, and he misses. It goes wide. Unfortunately, there's no one here to help him out. Soap saying, bro, I don't want to help you anymore. Can we go back, please? And they do so. Wow, it is a summit match of all time, ladies and gentlemen.
For sure, just so much fighting. And
another TP.
Daryl, but I was gonna say enjoy your chance to breathe, but I guess not. Like,
we don't get those here, man. We don't get those at all. Dragon will be the next target. It will put them on soul point. So I do think that if available, Ganking Private Ryan should contest this. They don't look like they have an angle though.
This is a very, very pivotal dragon.
They're not even gonna be able to look before it's just blinked off the map. Dano Snap will be damned, and now it's gonna be Ryan's gonna be the target. Mom's gonna be called. Soap will be the one. The Yapper will be shut down. Gonna put him on permanent mute status for the next 30 seconds. And sent back, scurrying into their own base. Now, yes, they did get their dragon. Congratulations, you're on soul point. You just cost yourself a Baron.
Yeah, GPR is just gonna threaten the Baron now. I think Soap burned the solar flare there to try to get his team out, but I don't know if they could have just walked away instead. It was a bit of a
They
greedy
have to
look.
stall. They have to stall here. Baron with the momentum that GPR has right now could be just a nail starting to form into the coffin. It's gonna be mid too easy, looking for a poke, finds a minion to throw in. No Scatter of the Week just yet, 5k on the Baron. It's gonna be OT Gator, can he go over the wall? It's up to him, but the hero play, and heroes will fall today. Brissy being the hero for his team, he will be the one, the sacrificial lamb for the security of the Baron, but they will take that away. But no, there's chum in the water, blood is sifting around, and they are on the hunt, but no, Neversaw will have the backpack available, have the escape plan. That is Yuumi Prowling Projectile. And yeah, they take the Baron with minor casualties to call for and show for it.
Yeah, I mean, PvP saving Flash, I think, is a really smart play. Like, it sucks that you die and give over a shutdown, but you have 3 members with Baron, and keeping that Flash for the next fight could matter a lot more. We have another Dragon in 3 minutes. Flash would be down had he flashed there, so huge to save that.
You know what might help? Just this game, having Baron on, your giant 4-1-1 Smolder. I don't know, maybe. Perhaps.
Just maybe. Because what do you do to stop that? He's pushing in with infinite wave clear. The minions are buffed up as
Riz is trying to look for a tower. He's just going to bait out Proton Plopper, but the damage is just too massive. You may have bitten off a bit more than you can chew. Yeah, you're big, but you're not PPP big. And Neversaw's here. Another stack for the Dragon and a double kill for Proton Plat player.
Briz thought he was baiting, but he was the one getting baited all along. PvP steps up and just cuts him down.
The hunter becomes the hunted. My favorite. Oh, but they're not down yet. Neversaw is pissed off too. So you want to talk smack about me and Barito's video? We'll take this. Ryan's going to go for the ultimate paranoia, but they're already afraid of this team regardless. They don't need anything extra. A double kill and a double execute. Mom's eating good tonight.
For sure, and with his Baron, this is a very, very dangerous mid push. They are going to lose so much here. They could lose up to 2 inhibs with the deaths on the back end of that play. Luton's down for 30, Soap's down for 30. Sure, you have Jason Vi respawning, but can they do anything into this level 17 Dragon?
I don't know. No inhib going to be in sight. While it is, shyly under 30 minutes, they may consider it a bit too early to start taking inhibitors. I don't know. Maybe a little bit not too comfortable in overexertion, which is good because we saw both teams really struggle with overextension early in this particular game. So for them to show that mid-game adaptation, it's a good sign for things to come.
Yeah, I completely agree. Not taking inhibs there is always safe. Like, the tower's going to be dead for forever. They picked up a tier 2 on the top side as well. And I do want to call out, Brizzy did a really good job of just keeping mid 2 easy on Sindri in bot lane that entire time. So they were not able to TP up and help in that fight.
That was like 2 abilities and an auto, and half of Brizz's HP is gone, by the way. Just going to throw that out there. And he ended up going with the Yomu's Ghost Blade. Probably trying to get himself a little bit around the map. As he feels it's necessary with how chaotic this game's been going for his team. Not too shabby. And as we kind of look at everything else developing in terms of build paths, anything unique standing out? It seems pretty standard to me.
Yeah, everything's standard here. Typically I like to go Shirelda's Grudge, 3rd on the Jace over the Ghost Blade, but like you called out, having that map pressure, being able to move around a lot more makes sense. Vi, after they put so much pressure onto Ryan on the Nocturne early, is actually behind in items now without a second one even completed.
Almost assuredly behind in gold as well. He does not have but 1 item to his name and kind of the components of another, but I don't think that Sterix could probably help a little bit, so hopefully that's the angle he's going.
Yeah. Hopefully it's Sterix, because that gives you a lot more HP to go in and get that engage off. Because right now without it, it's very hard to press that Vyar into like a smolder space, especially without dying.
Right. Yeah, especially with considering Soap's main item is Knight's Vow, his one completed besides his support item. That item could be registered as tanky if it didn't convert the damage of who you're linked to you. So Leona's not a tank right now. She's just a meat shield and a squishy one at that. A fantastic flash forward. And here's that long range engage from the side of Ganking Private Ryan. They're going to be ganking Private mid lane and getting a triple kill. Are they setting up for a penta game 1? You have to be kidding me! There ain't no way they're going to get this. Luton, you cannot give this over to Neversaw. Your mental Your entire team's mental could be in jeopardy. I mean, sure, you don't give over the Penta, but I think without a miracle
Don't say
from
it too
Luden,
soon.
it's on
Don't say it
there!
too soon.
I caster cursed it! Woo! 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 Luden, you did it! Okay, mental's back. They may have lost game 1, but they haven't lost the war.
Massive
Ganking Private
barrier right there.
Ryan, just above 30 minutes. Get that G1 score under their belt. Holy cow!
Just unbelievable game from them. Smolder came online so early. The 2v2 wins from Xayah coming out. Just an incredible game.
Yeah, what happened bottom lane? They were supposed to have the passive lane. It just didn't happen. They kept just killing people. I don't know. I'm very happy to not be one of the players in this series. I'm gonna just be honest with you, because man, that was a series.
They were
was an
just
intense game
fighting
one.
early game. That could have seriously gone either way. That was so much fighting early.
I would like to take credit in that I'm maybe even 1% responsible for these teams. You know, these two teams, these 10 members having a little bit more skin in the game, making the video. It's possible, but man, Alcyk, you got to give me a break. What do you think? I saw you over there in the side cam, like freaking out, and I'm like, yeah, I'm right there with you, bud.
It was a very fun series. I gotta say, watching from a spectator perspective, I gotta say, I think that Ganking Private Ryan really proved us wrong. We went into that game thinking that based off the draft, that Cyberbullies were gonna have a lead in the early to mid game, but they quickly showed us that they were ready to fight for everything. Right, so they showed up, getting some early kills down in the bot lane. 0-3 in the first 10 minutes of the game in the bot lane, and from there I kind of just think it's kind of probably where the morale and all of it just kind of started mounting, and then just some choice engages towards the mid game that just failed. They weren't quite able to get the kill onto the Xayah in the mid lane. I remember around the 23 minute mark where the Syndra and Vi were trying to engage, and they got turned on and ended up having the Syndra shutdown go over back to the Xayah. It was really bad, and just a lot of moments in the game where their just engages just fell flat. The game just kind of ran away from them, and the champions on the side of Ganking Private Ryan, by the moment the game made it to 20 minutes, they were already where they were supposed to be. They didn't get pushed back, they were in fact ahead. So all in all, I gotta give props to Ganking Private Ryan for making that draft work the way it did, and we'll have to see what they can do in the next game.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know about you, but I need to. This thing's huge, by the way, because hydration's important. It's almost out of water. I need to refuel this for sure, because I'm gonna be sweating the rest of the series for sure.
Certainly. Sure. And so, just to give you some water, just for you, Bartel. We're gonna go ahead and go into a quick break right before we get right back into the draft. Don't go anywhere. It's Ganking Private Ryan against Cyberbullies 1-0, but we have a whole other potential 4 games ahead of us. So let's see where the night goes. Hello and welcome back to the grand finals for season 4 of the Summit Premier League. We are here once again with Juan and Baratel, and we're going to be heading into the draft for game 2 relatively soon. But before we get to that, guys, expectations, improvements, what's going on? What do you guys think about these teams going into game 2?
I mean, once again, Neversaw, I think, had a huge performance on the Smolder. I think they need to put, or I think CB need to put a lot of resources into shutting her down because that was a just fantastic Smolder game. Got to 225 around what, 21, 22 minutes? Really
yeah,
early.
22 minutes.
Really good timing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think to piggyback off of that, if you're picking a team and drafting a team and a comp that has early game pressure and opportunity for ganks, and you have 0 kills on the board by 10 minutes, you're doing something wrong. Whether it's, maybe even conceding the lane in a sense that could be a feint in the way that get your opponent in a bad position for OT Gator to gank.
Mm-hmm.
And then beyond that, bottom lane's gotta, for Cyberbullies specifically, they gotta pump the brakes. They were overheated a bit in that game 1 for sure. Luden maybe a bit caught off by the first time PPP got the 2v2 kill. Second time, almost unexcusable.
Yeah. Speaking of Cyberbullies, let's go on and get into the draft that they are starting right now.
Okay.
And so we are going to have to see whether or not Cyberbullies are going to go again, try and go for that early game draft, or maybe they're going to switch it up now, or if GP are going to do the same thing. Probably not going to be Season Smolder, as the ban's already through, but I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to you guys.
Heck yeah. And we see the ban's already kind of emerging for the side of Cyberbullies. They did end up picking red side.
Again.
Nocturne's going through again. I guess they felt comfortable dealing with it. Maybe they'll end up putting OT Gator on someone who can traverse the map board freely, but I don't know.
Yeah, they did opt to ban the Smolder and the Yumi. So
Jin Zhao's actually a great pick. You have the ability to be on the cusp of aggression, and then if necessary, just use your ulti to peel for your team.
I completely agree. Yeah, because even if you do get caught out when trying to fight or brawl with the Nocturne, you can pop that ult right when you get feared, and nobody can really mess with you.
Leona pick again. I think that honestly, in this world, it wasn't a great look from game 1, and maybe they're just giving him a redemption shot. I truly think that maybe, for this particular matchup as it stands, it would be better to consider a more easy to operate champ. Zenith Blade, Solar Flare, those are skilled shots respectively, whereas Nautilus just has to auto attack, guarantees the Q, has the ulti. You did it! You somehow predicted that Sivir would be emerging.
I don't know. I think it's more of a curse than a prediction. That is a curse. There's no way they lock into the Sivir Seraphine.
I mean, Seraphine's definitely to get some kudo points with our current commissioner. Shout out SuperTuber. But man, if they had a lane that shouldn't have won early last game, this one I feel like has a bit more fighting power with the long range poke.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of that, we have the Leona once again. Very, very weak level 1. I don't know how Leona can play. You're a melee champ playing into 2 very long range champions. I believe that means CB is just going to get shoved in nonstop the entire game. It's going to be very, very hard to play out.
Yeah, and unless somehow Soap has a polar shift in performance from his lackluster game 1 Leona to Ioki level Leona performances game 2, Sivir will be able to block most of what Leona uses to chain stun, unless, of course, again, Soap plays it expertly and layers that CC perfectly. I mean, whoever's piloting the Sivir, I'm presuming going to be PPP. I don't think they're going to have much of a difficult time in the face of this Leona yet again.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think if you're Soap here, you should just play to roam more, just abandon lane a little earlier, right?
Yeah.
Because Sivir Seraphine don't have a ton of dive threat without the Nocturne being there too, at which point it's a 3-man dive, and that's a lot of people committed to that side of the map.
Sure.
Put Luton on something like the Ezreal or like a Cogwall, anything that has a lot of range that can farm safely and scales pretty well.
Power,
yeah, exactly, and then play it that way.
It might even be... Sorry, no, I was...
No, you're
I'm just as surprised as you are that Zeri is being considered and locked in. Okay.
The salty run back is a choice.
Salty run back. And truth be told, and this is from Wise Sage Council, Roblin Goblin, a very notorious player in Summit La Liga history, multiple season winner, so he's got a few accolades to back this up, and professional player. In that regard, he did say, and it makes sense, that sometimes some teams get nervous about how an early game goes in a series, and they are reluctant to try it again. So having the wherewithal that maybe Cyberbullies just said, this is a good draft, this works for us in our play style and how we want to win the game, we just really messed up our execution. That could be why we're seeing a bit of a salty run back here.
For sure. I mean, you also just have like the comfort level, if you haven't played a lot of games, sometimes you need a game to warm up. You're feeling better about the mechanics, you're feeling better about the CSing, last hitting, the early game, whatever it might be. So a salty run back makes sense to play the same champion twice in a row, right? You have that comfort factor setting in.
Let's see.
As I do want to call it, that is a Poppy top getting locked in for Brizzy, which means we'll likely see I don't know, it could be an AP or an AD top laner coming out from CB, but I would like to see.
It is Nasus.
It's getting
going to be interesting. It's going to be hovered. I don't think it should be picked. I truthfully don't. I honestly think that, okay, it's going to be locked in. I really think, well, I guess with Silas there, you don't want to pick someone with a good old. I was going to say Mordekaiser would be a great look here. Because you have so many things to steal stats from. All of these champions are going to build a tremendous amount of stats that Mordekaiser can really utilize. And, not a lot of the champs, aside from Silas, have a great time in that 1v1 against Mordekaiser.
Yeah, I mean, I would have loved to see an AP topside come out. I do think the comp is a little AD heavy on the side of CB. It really leaves the Orianna to be the only AP threat. And if she gets shut down by this Nocturne, similar to last game,
right,
it's going to be very hard to get enough gold and to be ahead enough to be the AP threat that your team needs.
Yeah, I guess maybe Briz has some insight into how the lane went. It did seem like he was able to farm pretty freely, but that could just be because of what Jace offers as a champion in terms of aggression and kind of lane control. I wonder if he's thinking that he can just capitalize on being able to farm against Brissy, but I unfortunately have news for him. Brissy is a very aggressive Poppy player, and he will smack down that hammer on you as much as possible.
Yeah, Poppy base damages are nothing to deal with. Her stun, it gives you a ton of damage if you get into a wall. Her Q does percent health damage, percent max HP. Obviously, she gets to get grass procs with her buckler, her passive. Really a lot of damage coming out, and it can be hard for Nasus to walk up and get those Q stacks like he wants.
Let's see, and we'll see. The Silas does have some pretty good ults to pick. I mean, no discredit to Soap. I do have hope that he'll perform a lot better on Game 2 Leona than Game 1. But I feel pretty confident in saying that Neversaw is going to be a little bit more adept at landing Solar Flare if that's the ultimate that she chooses to pick.
For sure. A lot of good ultimates for that Silas to pick up. I mean, even Nasus is just a huge stat buff, which Silas likes, right? He's already a plenty high damage champion. Right. Getting the extra stats from that Nasus ult can be a big threat.
True. And it does an AoE, AP scaling effect over time, so...
Yep.
And it makes him big, which is always really cool, too. I'm a big dude myself, so, being big's pretty cool. And people that want to be big, I feel like they want to be like me. And, they say imitation's the most sincere form of flattery. So I'm very flattered in the Silas pick. Not that it has anything to do with me, but it could.
Very introspective. I like that, actually. I like that perspective. I like that. Speaking of the game, I think it's time to once again come back to the classic question. What are your predictions for this draft? Last game, we kind of had a foot in our mouths about how that game turned out. So
I think collaboratively we cast or cursed the first game. So I'll say that just interestingly enough, we all predicted Ganking Private Ryan to be unpredictable. But I don't think anyone saw that game one coming. So, truth be told, maybe it's a shocking realization. This is grand finals, and both these teams do have to take things as seriously as possible. The respect has to be at the utmost priority for your opponents. You can't be dying with flash up. You can't be overextending and putting your team behind, because while you may not be solely responsible for your team's demise, it is going to be a stacking list contributing as a factor.
Yep. There's certainly a tipping point when it comes to League of Legends in general, especially the competitive scene. One edge can lead into another, just as you were saying. And Juan, I do want to get your opinion on that going into this game. Real quick, what do you think it's gonna? Do you think anything's gonna change here? Do you feel like for this game, the pressure here for Cyberbullies to perform is high? Do you think they will be able to?
I think it's a very high pressure performance, right? Because if you lose, you're down 0-2 in a grand final, right? Just to throw that out, that is a very, very hard situation to get into, and they know if they lose, they're going to get into that scenario. On top of that, it's also a salty run back after they just got stomped, playing a lot of the same champions with a similar draft idea. So I think it's really, really important for them to win here, to feel confident with themselves as players, and to not just kind of roll over and die.
I agree. I think that's a great point, and you know what? We're gonna have to end up seeing what Cyberbullies can actually provide us. With that, I'm gonna throw it to a quick break right before we head right into the game. Hello and welcome to Summoner's Rift. It is game 2 out of this best of 5. Ganking Private Ryan versus Cyberbullies 1-0 in favor of Ganking Private Ryan. And we are on the Rift. The game has started. Everyone is going to their lane. 5-point position, making sure no cheeky stuff happens on the map. And Baratel, tell me how you are feeling.
I'm feeling good, but I'm feeling a little nervous for Cyberbullies. We all had a moment, you, me, and Juan, over the course of the break to talk about kind of which draft we favored, and based off the performance and kind of the cohesion and comfort picks that Ganking Private Ryan was able to opt into this game, they kind of had a bit of an edge, especially we had a big question mark on whether or not this Nasus can really show themselves, their worth and pull their weight here in the top lane. Obviously, no discredit to Briz as a player, but sometimes you pick a champion and that champion just can't be played into that team.
Yeah, certainly. I think maybe also in picking the Nasus, they maybe saw it as a late game answer for them. Because if we looked at their prior draft, it definitely felt like the moment Ganking Private Ryan got any form of a lead, it kind of was the game just kind of slipped away. And so Nasus might be this angle for them to be like, okay, you know what? If we do fall a little bit behind, at least we can be like, we can hope and pray that this Nasus will pull us through. Maybe he'll reach 1,000, 1,600 stacks, and then he'll start one-shotting everyone.
Just one shot, It doesn't really matter how fed you are when Nasus has 1,000 stacks. Right?
Exactly. But no, just starting off the game with some little pushing. And what do we expect for the junglers to be pushing through? What lanes do you feel are going to be the ultimate priority here?
Well, we can see here, as opposed to game 1, and truthfully, in opposition to how most of the season has gone, we're seeing contrasting paths, right? We have both these junglers starting on opposite sides of the map, meaning that they're going to inevitably influence the other side of the map when they can.
Right.
And much to probably Luden's request or potential begging, he had requested for some jungle attention game 1, didn't get anything, and now Zeri with some help could be huge. Ryan making a quick path to bottom. We did anticipate Nocturne to fast farm to 6, but this time he feels that he might have an edge.
Yeah, this push is kind of in a tricky situation for the Cyberbully here at bot lane.
This has to be a tell. Look how far forward Jerboas and PPP
certainly
are acting.
Yeah, I think any adequate bot laner, Luton and Soap, definitely are that. They're probably going to suss it out and know that they cannot walk too far forward. Big wave crash by Brissy going to allow him to walk down and get some wards off.
Mid too easy, walking into melee range, never saw! Blinking health bar, goes for the flash Q auto, but the green is there, and a great bait, rate 10 out of 10!
Never!
Holy cow!
Wow, nicely
Mid
done.
too easy. Asked for the bluff, gets called on it, Ryan just walks in, waltz in for the free kill. Holy cow, Neversaw gets a free reset.
Yeah, that's integral. This mid lane was gonna be really rough for Neversaw. Even though she didn't get the kill, the assist is gonna help her out, and it just helps alleviate the amount of pressure that the Orianna will have in whole. Because man,
and engage Zenith Blade going wide again. This is going to be, I mean, not to put as much pressure as possible because that's never right. That's a five-player game, but Soap has to land these Zenith Blades. They have to be kind of that initial source of crowd control for any of these engages to go correctly. OT Gator putting down the ward into the tri-brush. Walking with mid too easy for that
mid too easy. Look at this vision setup. Really nice timing around the 4-minute mark here. Drake is coming up in a minute, and we see that that Cyberbullies are setting up this vision line. That way they know that if they want to contest this Drake, they'll see whether or not Ganking Private Ryan are either going to trade Grub.
Push under tower. It's going to be Briz being pushed on our tower by Brissy. He's got a blinking health bar, no mana. It's going to be a 1v2 situation. The minion wave is huge, but Briz is not able to keep things in range of the minions so far. He's going to try and run to Brissy, but again, just a fantastic bait. And a second kill going over to Ryan. While he is getting behind in camps, though, this bonus XP and gold into his pocket from these 2 successful ganks are going to be huge.
Ryan doing really well to maintain these lanes playable for his team.
And engage here in the mid lane. A full combo abduct, abscond, and half your HP bar is now just removed. That's a fair trade there, back from mid too easy. Yeah. He does have a area to keep it up. I do wonder, would you consider phase rush into Silas or no? Because once he goes in, he already has his full combo done, and There's no point in running away.
Yeah, I think for the Silas, phase rush is kind of thing right here in this lane where you do want to take the short trades. I think it'd be worth it for the lane, but outside of the lane, you really just kind of want to maximize your damage, right? You want to be able to blow someone up as fast as possible. So I think you just take the fact that this lane is not going to be good for you.
Okay.
Although I do think it is viable sometimes. It depends on the team.
Sure. Holy cow! Do you see Brizz's build? Guys, can we take a look at Brizz's items real quick?
This is what it's about. That's what it's about. Someone pull up the Damwon picture. Someone show me your picture.
He's got the tech figured out, but unfortunately, Brizzy's got a full stack minion wave and a hammer ready for blood. And unfortunately, it's got an acquired taste for dog blood right now. Watch out for certain political figures.
Certainly. As Ryan actually walking up towards the river, looking to maybe thinking about starting this Drake. They just got vision of Gator.
Stuffed out. Does not dodge the Poppy ult. Now it's a 1v1 between Nasus and Poppy, and Briz does not have the firing power to do any sort of battle with all those motes right now. He's got to keep his little fireflies safe.
And now
it's gonna be a repeat. Oh yeah, Briz wins your other ult, dude. 1v1, bro. He's gonna go in, gonna go for the talent strike. Goes for the flash wither, and they're trying to dive on their tower. Get the plus 12! No, he doesn't get the reset. OT Gator will fall. Briz will shortly be the next course on the menu for Neversaw. There's no rotation. Oriana, though, gonna be just completely able to get himself into a good position. Gonna go for the honey fruit? No. Just gonna try and waltz himself to safety. His ult will be stolen. Neversaw not able to get anything going on. Is that a visual bug and he's just gonna constantly blink the whole game?
You talking about the effects on that?
Yeah. What is Silas doing? He's raving out right now. I hear Darude Sandstorm.
He's vibing. He's he's got his headphones on.
Yeah, he's just listening to lo-fi hip hop beats to lane 2. He does pop the Nasus ult. He does only get to keep ultimates for a certain amount of time, so it's not a complete wash. Luckily though, Soap, we had talked about him needing to maybe not play so much into lane, but have more of an aptitude for roaming, and him being there could have stalled the engage there. And engage in the bottom lane, Proton Pop player completely out of mana to regain it, but a fantastic route from Jerboas completely stops that engage in its tracks.
Yeah. And it didn't help also that the Soap missed the Zenith blade there too as well. So it's just overall just not really playable there, as they're able to make it out, not blowing any summoners on either side. And Gator now starting up these grubs. A little late. Drake has been taken for about 2 minutes, about a minute 30 now. So he's just going to take this time, and eventually that notification will pop up on the map, giving Ryan information as to where he is.
Yep, here goes. Boom.
There you go. Now what he decides to do with information, he is walking mid, so is Gator.
His trajectory doesn't change too much, but this pushing lane does incentivize him to try and stick around for a gank. And he also, as you mentioned, he knows where, in relativity, where OT Gator might be for the map. Mid or top, going to be one of the two. Can't gank top because it's Poppy under tower. Good assumption for him to stick mid, but now he's been snuffed out.
Look at this.
Walking into him. Going to go for the tether, gets the fear. Soap in danger. He's going to try and flash over the wall, but the damage is just too big. He's been used as the ball delivery system, but he'll also be a kill delivery system for Neversaw.
And it's just a kill. Like, Soap doesn't even flash over the wall or anything. Doesn't blow any sums. I guess he just imagined that he was dead the moment the CC layer happened. But just overall, really a shame. Some damage.
Production, can you do me the biggest favor and click on Nasus? I want to see if he's maxing W. He's not. That was raw Q damage on Brissy. Okay. So this man is stacking. OT Gator in the wings. Maybe look for a dive opportunity once this wave crashes. Has to land the W perfectly. It's going to be against Brissy. Here comes the ultimate. He gets the one knockout, and it's going to force OT Gator to take. But Brissy will get the solo polo in a 1v2. You have to be kidding me.
Just a perfect timing there as the Zen dashes in. Oh,
here comes an engage! It's not over yet. The health bars, the blood is there. Overextension is going to be the name of the game for this first 10-minute section. And Cyberbullies better check themselves, or they'll be wrecking themselves for the rest of this game.
And we've got a 2K gold lead for Ganking Ryan yet again. The early game from them has just been phenomenal. They've had wonderful movements across the map despite Cyberbullies' attempts to kind of track them through the jungle and through the map. It's just been falling short. They've just been late on every play.
Yeah, and Oh, and engage here in the mid lane. Never saw able to find an angle. Abduct Abscond goes for 3 Petricite bursts. Just a full round of damage to mid too easy, and he does limp away.
Yeah.
Half HP for quarter HP trade in favor of Neversod. And to piggyback off of what you had mentioned, they're forcing so much. You got to consider nothing detrimental is happening in this top lane. Both these two top lane mountains are just farming, and who's going to win in the late game? Nasus with farm or Poppy with farm? So you giving an out for ganking Private Ryan, I don't know. It's got to cost you a little bit of a setback.
Certainly. Oh, whoa.
Oh, it's talk about setbacks. Neversaw has just that 1 assist. Now 3-0-1. Drake's up. Bad timing. You're right. Absolutely. Cyberbullies on the back foot. In terms of that, Drake's up pretty soon within the minute. It is a huge balloon growing in terms of gold. To the side of Ganking Private Ryan.
Whoa, Gator.
Gator finds an angle, already used the Audacious Charge, so he couldn't follow suit with the rest of that, but still. Dragon's up in 20. An engage maybe on Vossler. Doesn't find it. Soap looking.
No, this early before the fight is just so scary. You don't know where Nocturne is on the map. It's rough to make a play here, and that kill for the run is really detrimental because it allows saving Ganking Private Ryan to get first move onto this Drake and just establish some vision as we see right now.
Another engage. OT Gator, we're gonna look for a counter engage. Gonna get the Xinjia ult. That's gonna be a safe one to grab. You know, oh, you're gonna engage on me. No, I'm just gonna engage back on you. Neversaw looking for blood as well.
Yeah.
Maybe call for Brissy rotation into the river. There it goes. Says fight your lane or become help me. OT Gator gonna be the target. It's gonna be a 1v2 and he'll just be left to the wolves.
Oh no, Gator.
We just let Brissy have that kill, by the way.
As mid too easy now, instead of his jungler, he's gonna be the one to have to contest this Drake, and he's doing a damn good job of it.
Yeah, it's gonna maybe force a reset. No, Ryan will be back in aggro range for this Drake to be secured. Are they going to look for a 3v4? He's going to be pinched. Neversaw's on the flank. A fantastic Seraphine ult, and now seeing the demise of this bot lane duo for the side of Cyberbullies. An extra kill from mid too easy will be icing on the cake. A fantastic shot from Luden. Oh, but a great abductive stun and a double kill. 5-0-3 for Neversaw. Hey, guess what, guys? She can play things other than scaling champions. Who would have thought? That's crazy. Wow.
I was gonna give props to Luton for just even coming out of that with any kind of kill. Yeah. But then Neversaw just sees the moment, uses the flash, uses the Scon, and gets in there, eliminates it. Says that's what you get for taking my support.
Don't you do anything to my team, because that's not what I like to hear. OT Gator just. He's desperate for money, bro. He's got an entire half of his jungle to clear, and he's just down bottom trying to run into Sivir. I don't know. Look at top lane. Briss is getting shoved under tower. Brissy's just beating the ever-living crap out of him with the giant hammer. Yeah. What's there to do? How does Cyberbullies come back into this game?
It's rough now. I mean, like we were talking once the game. Hold on.
Oh my gosh, he pops the ult. But guess what Poppy does? He does percentile health damage.
Look at Nocturne though. He's on the grubs.
Nocturne's on the grubs. He doesn't even care because Brissy doesn't need any help. He's winning this 1v1. Mid too easy's coming up.
By. No,
it is just what is happening, dude? What is going on?
Didn't even like stop for 1 second. Just threw the Q in there and just kept on.
It's like I got other things to do. I gotta go, bro. I gotta get the top lane. You know, you see our top laners? We're fighting their hearts out.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a tough one.
You were asking me before, you know, how is it that Cyberbullies can really, you know, claw their way back into this game? And you know, it has to be the Nasus, but it's unfortunate because he's just been what should have been a really late. Oh, hold on.
And engage the soul for land. Oh my God! It might be off the back of Soap, but it's engaged. You actually find the damage. Oh. It's on a Nair. Vossler almost dies. It's so close. But Silver Lining, a very tight, microscopically thin Silver Lining. Soap landed his abilities. That's going to be huge. If that trend continues, that could be a catalyst for them back in this game.
Certainly, as
Brissy 1v1 into Briz. It's going to be OT Gator walking into another Poppy ult, I'm sure. Rift Herald will be on the docket for Ganking Private Ryan. A trade in first tower gold. That's a huge boon of money for that. Here comes the engage onto Briz. It's going to get an engage, and unfortunately, Nasus will just be left to the wolves. Ryan will engage with his paranoia, gets the flash out, doesn't go for the teleport yet. Neversaw will find it! And unfortunately, the poor timing from the OT Gator, just unlucky timing, really, does not spare his life under tower. And it is getting bleak for Cyberbullies game 2.
Yeah, Cyberbullies, honestly, you're looking now at a nearly 4K gold lead, more as the towers end up going down, right? No outer towers have been destroyed. We have at least 2K more.
He's not, Neversaw's not done. He's just running at people, finds the ultimate. Here comes the command shockwave. Command dead. You're not long for the world. Bye-bye.
I don't know. It's rough. Mid too easy. Look at the items. You have 22 stacks on the bench right for Neversaw.
They almost have a full chaptered book, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a 22 chapter Magi's.
16 minutes into the game, by the way. 16 minutes. 8-0-3. Neversaw is putting on a clinic. And honestly, at this point, I don't know if there's a way out for Cyberbullies.
OT Gator's getting run down by Sivir of all champions.
In his own jungle.
In his own jungle. Because what do? They have to forfeit this. There's no way they can look into it.
Yeah. No, it's rough. Honestly, it's been rough throughout the entire game. A lot of resources have been put into the top lane of the map, and none of the attempted ganks, dives, anything has worked out at all. So it's made all of that time and effort, nothing's been gained. So when they should have been maybe gaining towards the top side, losing towards the bottom side, it's just been losses everywhere.
Attention passengers, this is your caster speaking. On the left, you'll see Ganking Private Ryan with a tremendous gold lead. And on the right side, we'll see Cyberbullies with a very small chance getting back into this game. That is we'll see some turbulence and probably some more team fights, but gosh, we'll be seeing maybe a potential game 2 victories. Oh, there it goes! OT Gator with the perfect timing, but he'll eat more ultimates than just that. He's still alive, though! Somehow. With the final breath of an ability, all cooldowns being expended, the final hurrah from Vossler being thrown across the jungle will secure that kill. OT Gator, though, good timing on his part. They're just getting hit by wallets at this point.
Yeah, everyone on the side of Ganking Private Ryan enjoying the bloodlust, except for the ADC, who is 0-0-4. The only player without a kill, unfortunately. The life of a...
I have to be honest with you. If there's a player on Ganking Private Ryan that is enjoying this the most, it is PPP, by the way.
Yeah? Okay.
Oh, yeah. He is the biggest hype man for his team. So him seeing this going on the rest of the map while he's just farming is his ideal dream, honestly.
He's relaxing. He's chilling.
He's chilling. His feet are up. He's got a Mai Tai in one hand. The dude's just straight on chill status. Although, we will say, gold being exchanged, getting some gold will minimize this to just short of a 4K gold lead now.
Yeah, minimize
but 15 to 2.
Minimize the...
Maybe another one as well, as Briz looking to go with the huge amount of damage to towers. That is maybe their saving grace. Nasus left alone in the lane.
Oh, but
it's not just Brissy! It's never just Brissy! You can't! If you do not have tabs on every member from the enemy team, you cannot assume that your lane opponent is alone. You can't at this time. It's grand finals, folks.
It's tough because you feel so pressured. Threat detected. He must feel so pressured as like the only champion in this game who has like a money and like a potential out, right? He's just walking. He's just running.
He's just getting dog walked back to mid tier 2.
It's so difficult, honestly. Like, I mean, if you're threat detected, honestly, that ends up being kind of worth it because you get the tower to more gold versus just like dying for the fourth time. But yeah, it's just gonna be him trying to split push while the rest of the team is constantly gonna be down in numbers, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what the answer here aside is from stealing a Baron or objectives, right? It's gonna be really tough. Priority's gonna be on getting that Neversaw gold bounty though, but we're gonna have to see what can Gator inhibit across the map now, because the only way you win fights now, and even then, it's kind of rough, is with numbers, right? You gotta look for the 4v3s, the 3v2s, but I mean, look at Neversaw. 2 items completed, Stork boots, the full chapter. Neversaw is like 3 champions in 1 right now.
Yeah, Neversaw, she's become the messiah right now, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of executing power on the side of Cyberbullies, but that doesn't mean that won't happen.
Right.
If for some reason this game state becomes completely neutral. It just becomes this weird farm game. Then,
Or
eventually, this Nasus will become a problem. But
and look at the movements. Look at the movement. We see the support and jungler coming down to maybe get a kill on Brissy. No shutdown. What will be the response from Ganking Private Ryan? No, looks like
they're going to get reinforcements of their own. He's turned off the lights, and unfortunately, when the lights come back on, it's going to be an entirely new nightmare being sent away. You can't even help your team. I require a 1v1, says Brissy. Takes that out. Nasus will be put down and euthanized here in this game. They're not done yet. Never saw. She smells blood. She has the Leona ult, and she doesn't miss, ladies and gentlemen. Watch out. Finds a 1v2, and they are both sent scurrying in fear. Almost a secondary Nocturnal, and forcing Cyberbullies to just run away mid too easy. Says, guys, I can't help you. We need to have pressure. We need to somehow pull this team apart and split them thin. Doesn't check.
Oh, bitch, he just walked out of the bush. He could have gotten the recall off. Now Neversaw's on the way.
Oh, but there's Neversaw in tow. Proton Plat players here. They do have, no, they don't have the silver on quite yet.
There's a TP. It's a 3v2.
It's going to be a 3v2. Bruce is here. Doesn't have the ultimate. It's going to be a 3v2. It's a 3v3. Yet another TP is getting called in. It's a 4v5. It's a 3v4. It's just not a good look for Cyberbullies anymore. The reinforcements, while they are here, are just a little bit too late. The engage now looks to be in the hands of Ganking Private Ryan. And man, they are just one step ahead, two steps ahead across the map from anything Cyberbullies is trying to do.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh, he will actually take the kill. He has to die. That has to be illegal.
Wait. Oh, okay. They don't want to go for more.
Ryan Olsen gets away scot-free with yet another kill, and then they're sure that Baron's secure in this game too. It's looking real bleak for Cyberbullies.
Alright, Luton, nice shot. Hopping over the wall to get away from the flash. Neversaw had to blow the flash, but regardless, I mean, you're happy. You're taking Drake. I mean, what's next, right? You've already killed everyone on the side of Cyberbullies. Well, at least once. Now you gotta kill the Drake too. I mean, the Baron too, right? I mean, that's the next biggest thing. As they're gonna go ahead and take this resets, get those items, come back onto the map, and start pushing in these waves as they look to take some of these inner towers.
I mean, I would say, hey, you know, they have the Baron, you could wait for Dragon Soul, but like, you don't have a dragon.
Yeah.
You
have zero dragons.
You have zero dragons. You have towers, sure.
You don't have Baron.
You don't have kills. You're doing okay in farm, but that's literally it.
Oh my!
Here comes in. Never saw it on 1v2. Holy crap! The stolen Zerial just rips asunder Brizz's health bar. Nasus is sent back. Here comes the Nocturnal. Here to the back line is going to be a dive, a fantastic kill as he is dominating Ryan here now. Backline access. OT Gator's trying to find his own backline, but he's getting beat by ADC. That's so uncommon these days. ADCs in 2024. Soap now will be the target. He'll be taken down quickly as well. He will land a CC, but sure, it's easy to do when 3 targets are running at you. And man, this is... I've been saying on repeat, I sound like a broken record. This is getting bleak for the side of Cyberbullies, but man, this is like...
It's been bleak. It's been bleak for the
I'm looking,
20 minutes.
if there's a total amount of nails in a coffin to fully close it, I think Ganking Private Ryan's got to be on like 8 or 9.
Almost certainly. You know, we try our best as casters to keep things positive for both teams, but this is pretty hard to keep positive. We're looking at nearly a 10k gold lead. Baron has been claimed. They have Soul. Like this is rough. This is more than rough. I would say nearly unwinnable. As oh my god, couldn't even stop the recall.
Yeah. Wither doesn't stop recalls, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep that in mind.
That's
now,
rough.
Can we? Okay, Nasus just shy of 500 stacks. Is that the catalyst? Is this then the time for Cyberbullies to adapt a Ganking Private Ryan strat?
Okay,
oh my god, Luden is just a full target, gets a full range, Nocturne ultimate across the way, never saw Zaire to follow up. Unfortunately, that book is full of chapters. Soap will now be the target. 2 solar flares in tandem, a Venn diagram, but this one will be deadly for the likes of Soap, as he will be sent to 1 HP, a blinking health bar, set to base,
they
and
were
completely
really
conceding the tower.
They were really scared there. Soap should have 100% died there.
I just realized we flipped the script. Oh my gosh, a fantastic goal from Seraphine as she will lock things up. Neversaw will be legendary. She continues to march down These guys are just minions to them. They're just diving under whatever objective. They don't care.
Are these the grand finals or is this a rank flex?
This is a grand finals. Yeah. Well, the crazy thing too is it almost seems like the scripts were switched, right?
Yeah.
Although obviously Cyberbullies had intention for their lanes to go better, but they put their eggs in the Nasus basket, a late game scaler, and then Ganking Private Ryan, they picked early opportunity and they won straight out. Game 2, ladies and gentlemen, is being just swept away in front of our eyes, and there's nothing Cyberbullies can do about it. Ganking Private Ryan now up 2-0.
25 minutes and 35 seconds. That was the time for Game 2 of this best of 5 series. 2-0 for Ganking Private Ryan, and they're going to be going to Game 3 with a hell of a morale boost.
Yeah, they are on the momentous swing, and I mean, obviously, best of 3s were the main thing for the general season. Best of 5s, if you're not put to a 5-game series, you don't realize the emotional and mental fatigue and stress that can occur. But going down 2-0 in the earliest part of the series,
yeah,
it's gonna this will show whether or not Cyberbullies is a team that has mental resiliency.
Certainly. Given now that we're back on the analyst decks, I do want to take it to Awan Cake, who is showcasing us the score visually. Thank you very much. Awan,
of course.
What are we gonna be getting?
I mean, that was just a complete stomp. The salty run back. Typically, when you do that, I don't know if CB knows. You're supposed to win the game. You're not supposed to run it back and lose again. So
third time's the charm, though.
Very interesting. Third time's the charm, maybe. We'll see. But there's just not a lot to say. It was just a complete. I mean, CB just got rolled over.
Certainly. It's rough, you know.
It's not for lack of trying, though. I will say what's commendable about Cyberbullies is them attempting to try to assert dominance, try to make proactive plays. The issue was they are taking calculated risk, and unfortunately the percentage of that risk is too high for the reward, right?
Yeah.
We saw multiple times where OT Gator spent a huge amount of their time on the map trying to dive Brissy top lane, and for it to result in nothing. In fact, or even some moments in which it cost them kills and map pressure when that happened. You have to be able to say, okay, if we are doing this on this side of the map, we have to sacrifice this. Although, if we are able to say with certainty where X, Y, and Z player are, we know that we can make this a more successful ratio for our execution. I'm not saying that they're doing things wrong in that sense, in terms of them trying.
I will say they were doing things wrong. I will cut in there.
Well, at a certain point, there was a little bit of tilt going on there. At a certain point, they were making the right calls, but I think maybe overexertion is going to be the theme of demise for that game, too.
It definitely seemed like the moment that the first kind of, let's say, 3 to 4 play, like the moment the first 3 to 3 plays didn't go in their favor, it definitely seemed like they really felt the pressure. Like every play was not because it was calculated, it was a desperation. They wanted to get something across the map rather than making calculated decisions and realizing, hey, we're behind, we need to like think out how we want to play the rest of this game and really analyze where to take our fights. They were like, we're behind, we need to do something, right? They were in a rush to get a lead. And top lane, just the amount of investment from Gator into the top lane. Like, you have a Nasus, right? Like, I understand wanting to put it ahead, but he's in the skill no matter what. Like, let's look at the other lanes who might need more pressure, or at the very least, focus on where Ryan is going. Try and match his ganks, but instead, he was the one being matched all the time.
Right. We saw an opportunity for OT Gator to kind of in tandem engage as a gank with Soap's engage on Leona, and the first couple attempts did fail. Unfortunately, Soap wasn't able to lock down that crowd control. Therefore, OT Gator kind of just shirked it off as like, oh, well, you know, I'm not going to come bottom anymore. But at a certain point, Soap was landing those abilities. At that point, you have to say, okay, he's landing this stuff. I can come back bottom, and now we can go in bottom and maybe win through that.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's a shame. Before we head out, I think I do want to point out Neversaw's amazing performance. What was the final tally? I think we're looking at we gotta see 12, 1, and 9, and that one was only the one death was at the very end where she literally dives the fountain. So like Neversaw excellent performance on the side. It's making use of all the benefits she got from Ryan, and then just being everyone on the map. Really well done. Will she continue to play this way on into the next match, or will things change? Will we see Cyberbullies really pick up where they left off and kind of show us that they're not here to just lose 3-0, you know? So moving on to a little break right before we get into the next draft. Don't go anywhere. This is gonna be.
You don't want to. You gotta stay.
Hello and welcome back to the Summit Season Finals. I am once again here with Barato and Juan, and I don't want to pussyfoot around, so we're going to go straight into the draft. Let's let Juan and Barato, I'm going to let you guys take it away.
Cyberbullies ban Nocturne, let's go!
Oh my, they did it! They banned the Nocturne. Wow, I mean, they let the Smolder open again though, Barato. What do you think about that?
I think it's fine as long as they mitigate. You had mentioned game one that they didn't do anything to stop Neversaw from farming. She had executed 20 minutes, which is very rare, and they can't allow that to happen. So hopefully they can draft someone who has pressure to stop that. Oh no.
The Ryan Talia coming in.
The Ryan Talia, they were afraid.
His other famous pick, yeah.
They were afraid of the Yumi. I guess they're not really comfortable with that. Ryan on Talia. What I will say, not that this is projected, because I'm pretty sure Ryan's playing Talia. This could be Ryan on Ezreal. Ryan loves Ezreal. This one of his favorite champs. He won't tell you this, but he loves that champion. Self-proclaimed the best Ezreal on Summit, to be honest.
That's quite the statement. I feel like everybody has a pocket Ezreal. It might not be good, but everyone has played it quite a few times.
Regardless.
Yeah, you know, it's in your pocket. It might be deep in your pocket. You might have a hole in your pocket, but you have it.
This could also be Ezreal mid too, like as a flex pick, which is.
I do want to mention the Lucian being picked. A much more aggressive early AD carry than the Zarya that we've been seeing. So I like that coming out from CB. I'm not a huge fan of them picking red side. I think blue side is really strong, as we've seen with GPR picking their really
Smolder and Poppy bans.
Early picks. Yeah,
Elise and Kassadin will remove too.
True. And then I also want to call out the Gwen getting picked. We could see this flex into the jungle, actually. Gwen jungle has been making a bit of a resurgence, and I'd be very surprised if we saw a Gwen blind pick.
I mean, yeah. Although maybe they're just banking on the fact that they think that Brissy only plays tanks, but again, unfortunately, that's no longer true. Brissy's evolved as a player, and that will be the Viego pick here.
It is the Gwen
presumably for
top,
jungle.
yeah. Viego buffed this most recent patch. Not a massive buff, but three more base AD, which helps him with his Triforce build.
I see an immediate problem for Cyberbullies in the fact that while they have dashes, they are now playing into Talia.
They're also a very short range comp. When your longest range character is Lucian, into Seraphine, into Talia, into Ezreal, as the Volibear getting picked up for Brizzy here. I mean, I think that's fine. Volley's a fun champ. He played it in the last series against a Camille and got, I think, 3 solo kills pretty early on. So
yeah, Volibear does, like, and if you're not comfortable with the matchup, Volibear can really take you by surprise with how much they sustain themselves. They have a fantastic amount of shielding and healing, and then just the raw damage output he can throw down.
Yone!
Are we gonna see Never Saw on Yone?
The Never Saw Yone.
Oh, this is a treat. We better see something spicy from Mid Too Easy here. I want to see Yasuo.
The Malphite mid!
It's Malphite mid!
There's no way. There's no way. It has to be a bait. They're trolling. It has to be a bait. There's no way.
I think they need it though, really. Like, Malphite actually fits their comp perfectly.
It gives them that go. Annie being locked in instead.
Annie!
I mean, Annie's good in the Yone,
Annie.
but I don't know. It's really, really lane dependent, right? Because Yone is going to outscale you and have that side lane pressure. And as we've seen, Neversol has been really solid in this late game.
Yeah.
So hopefully we see Viego just spam ganking Neversol around this Annie stun, around these Annie timers, and putting the Yone behind. Because otherwise, the Annie does not bring a ton of value.
Yeah. Also, you had criticized Cyberbully for having, or at least articulated that they have a very short range comp. Annie doesn't help that. Annie is incredibly short ranged as well.
They are still giga outranged. I mean, because even Yone Q can space melee champs.
Yone can ease like triple Annie's effective distance. Yeah. We'll have to see. But this is do or die, so hopefully they consider their options.
I mean, hopefully these are all comfort champs. If these are champs that you're good on, that you play a lot. I mean, they can do a lot of damage, all of them. So, maybe all they have to do is get ahead.
True. That's true. That's a definite opportunity, but also, what do you think? I was like, it's a tough one. I can't hear you.
You're muted, Alsec.
Sorry about that. Look at the draft right now. I was watching as it was coming out, and I gotta say that Leah really does look like primo right now. It obviously depends on how well it gets piloted, but all in all, if we look at like the team, and if we look at the team fighting here, I think that when it comes to team fights, we're definitely gonna have to see I think CB are gonna have a little bit of lead. They're just easier to play out for them. I think the fights are gonna be a lot more straightforward. They're looking for the anti engages. They're looking for the thresh hooks. On the side of GPR, it's all going to depend on whether or not they can get the shoves, the Yone, Fate Unsealed and stuff like that. So, all in all, I'm really interested in just to see how well it can be played. I think it depends on if GPR can continue into this game playing how they have been. I think they're going to have a much easier time. Depends on that though, and it depends on how well CB can really kind of pick themselves up after last game. Because it sucks, be losing in that fashion, but it's 5 games. Every new game you got to go in it like it was your first. So I think CB,
correct.
It depends. We're gonna have to see what happens, but from there we're gonna, I think, throw it to a break right before the next game starts.
Heck yeah. Welcome back to potentially the final game for the evening in the Summit Season 4 Grand Finals between Cyberbullies and Ganking Private Ryan. Ganking Private Ryan has the pretty hefty 2-0 lead, and it is now the hefty task of Cyberbullies to claw back in with the reverse sweep. No 5-point here. They're going to look for an invade. It will be quickly thwarted and turned away.
Really good of GPR to spot that out. And like you said, this is a big game 3. They're running the red side for the 3rd time in a row. They're already down 0-2. This is a must-win scenario. Nerves are high here, and same for GPR, you know? Yes, they had a stomp last game, but you could easily see them getting a little carried away, get a little careless, and play sloppy this game. You got to make sure you keep those emotions in check and you play out as you normally do.
Right. Do you think with them putting priority on mid counter pick, they kind of hit the mark with this Annie?
I think so. I think it's interesting that we're seeing Briz actually get swapped over to play the Annie mid lane and have
Mitsubishi true. Wait, top. I just realized. Okay.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah.
I'm a great caster, by the way. I'm super professional all the time.
Hey, that's what the color caster's for. You know, if I didn't notice that, then we have an issue. But yeah, seeing that swap is interesting for me. But I do think the Annie's a good shutdown pick into the Yone, and should at least let the early game play out slightly better.
Yeah, the Gwen pick. I mean, you had kind of alluded to it potentially going jungle, but again, I guess mid 2 easier says, all right, dude, I'm just gonna beat the ever living crap out of Brissy. Again, it's not gonna be an easy feat. It's gonna be something that requires dedication. But if there's ever a player to do it, it's gonna be mid 2 easy.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, Gwen is like the definition of a hyper carry champ, right? She was after Felios, like probably the most recent, 200 years champ, where she can just take over games if she gets ahead. And putting I'm assuming the best player on that is probably a smart choice coming out from them.
I also like that they're putting Luton on a more aggressive champ as well. We'll have to see. Again, unfortunately, Lucian can't do it by themselves, and without the Nami, they really can't do it by themselves. It really is going to be up to Soap on whether or not they're going to be able to lock that CC down. With the TP, though, from Annie in the mid lane, that Ignite burst combo is not going to be opportune for them quite yet. Annie will have to maybe wait for some items before Neversaw's in a jeopardized place. But a good trade pattern so far from what's presumed. Oh, great death sentence! We'll land on the Jerboas, and they'll have to flash! Here comes the Ignite, one more auto, and Soap will get the first blood! A squeaky clean one, too! And a fantastic start for Cyberbullies. Hopefully, a sign of things to come.
A big change of pace coming out from CB here.
The dude does one thing and instantly emotes. You gotta respect it, right? To some degree.
Hey, if you are down 0-2, you have to do what you can. If that includes emoting,
yeah,
you know what?
If that
Flex
gets the mental edge, actually the best move.
Exactly. I mean, and that was a great hook. I mean, that went between like 2 minions, and still a really, really good hook. And a big, like you said, change of pace for this CB bot lane.
Looking at his map, he's looking forward to where Otigair is going. He might have had another look onto Jerboas there. He was in vision. Instead, they will go in tandem towards the top side of the jungle. Soap will get rooted. They'll call for the retreat as, oh no, Yone is coming. Yone's on the prowl. Will he be able to get there, or will she be able to get there in time? Never saw specifically. Yone is a dude, of course, but regardless, not able to get there in time. So a little bit of an evade, but doesn't really gain much ground. And starts putting just one camp behind in terms of gold efficiency for Ryan. Soap now looking for something in the bot lane. He'll act! What? Proton Pop Player doesn't even try dodging? A nice double flash, and Luden will strike another first blood. Here in the mid lane, it's Briz versus 2, and he'll barely get out living. It's more action across the map, but this time, the familiar trend of 2-0ing on the side of Ganking Private Ryan will now finally swap positions as Cyberbullies, the notoriously early pressure team, finally has a little bit of a lead in this early game.
And this is what changing those picks is all about. They got rid of the Zeri, they got rid of the Leona, and now they're picking up 2v2 kills. I'm not saying it's simple, but it's working this time, and it's a great change of pace, and honestly, this is what you're looking for when you pick champs like that.
Absolutely. The stuff farm, it's kind of going the way we would anticipate it a little bit. We see, of course, Brissy struggling as a champion that builds HP into, unfortunately, Gwen. Ryan not really going for any ganks early on. Does have, of course, a little bit of farm there in that regard. And then never saw she's just an animal, just beating Briz up left and right.
Yeah, Yone coming out with a small CS advantage is huge here. As
Is this a
Brizzy could be in trouble from a dive. Ryan's going to swap it out.
Gator, they're going to find it. Tries to start channeling the recall. I don't know if that was in... Oh, yeah, you're doomed. Here comes the tumblestones. Here comes the rock, and you'll be sent to an early grave. A dirt nap, if you will, gifted by Ryan himself. Hey, Gator, maybe we should stick to our own jungle this game. I don't know.
For sure. I mean, I think Viego isn't a great invade champ. Obviously, that was a decent dive, but they didn't have a ton of vision. They didn't know where Ryan was, and they get punished for it. Brizzy with a really good flash to confirm the shove into the sun as well.
Okay. Neversaw goes in the engage and just loses 50% of their HP. Now back down to about 30%, chugging those pots to try and heal back up. Soap looking for a roam opportunity, finds Ryan on his own chickens. Mid too easy though, we'll get a solo bolo in the top lane, unfortunately for Brissy. Gwen Scissors are just too sharp.
For sure. I mean, Brizzy got the assist on the jungle play and decided not to base and TP back and was subsequently punished for it. Stayed at low HP, and that's a level 7 Gwen.
It's a scary thing to start snowballing too, and while it is just 1 to 3, you know, just 1k gold separates the two. Objectives now are on the map, and we'll just see who's able to take the lion's share of those. We see Ryan now bottom lane does have ultimate, so the Weaver's Wall will be here to try and make a pseudo Nocturne effect of global presence available to him. Both nice bot lane reset will stop one, as Luden will face the entire Ezreal ult.
Ryan did complete his recall though, so Lucian
yeah, Ryan
be in
is
too much
out.
trouble as he pushes out the wave.
Absolutely, and I don't think that Lucian shouldn't be caught by the likes of Seraphine and Ezreal here, but it is a possibility. Trying to escort the wave, but they're just going to be able to go blow for blow here on the farm. Mid lane, another trade of blows. As the dust kind of settles in the early action, what's led to become our expectation. Hopefully will return soon. I want some more action.
Yeah, for sure. Now, hopefully with the dragon up and the grubs up, both junglers on top side here, we might see a small 2v2 top side as Brizzy's trying as hard as he can to crash this wave, but Gwen constantly being a thorn in the side, just not letting Volier get that crash as OT Gator coming up top.
Brissy forced into an engage. It's going to be Brissy just taking an early dirt nap themselves, and actually give the Volibear form over to OT Gator, getting some nice health. And this is a fantastic champion to start these grubs with. The passive, the damage, the healing, pretty good, but he'll actually concede that as he doesn't feel confident in his mid laner's ability to roam to help him here in this grub side of the map.
Definitely. I mean, Gwen getting very ahead of 30 CS lead as well.
Here comes the ultimate from Yone, trying to lock things up, to walk back, and the stones cast aside. I mean, it's just poetry in motion. Never saw it.
Yeah.
She's just so good at just providing false senses of security on a repeat basis.
Never saw it. Just every game we've seen so far, she's been able to bait somebody into taking a trade.
Yeah.
And getting them killed because of it.
Yep.
And she does it once again. I mean, Briz didn't even flash there. Held his flash, got hit by the Yone ult, and just got changed CC'd into death.
And a 2-0 for Ryan. I mean, it's not going too well for them top lane. There's not much to it here in the mid lane. It's just blow for blow. And then bot lane is Ezreal Seraphine. So you know, Ryan does have kind of the chief responsibility in the early part of this game to dictate, you know, where those resources are being allocated and what lanes to try and get ahead. So far, so good though with that 2-0 lead.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's definitely on Ryan and Neversaw at this point to carry the game because they're the only champs that can really deal with this Gwen. I mean, obviously PPP on the Ezreal and Seraphine scaling up and be good, but with Gwen's W with her mist, it's really hard to actually get consistent damage onto her. So it's these higher damage champions that are liable to cut down this Gwen, who is so far starting to take over the game a little bit.
You have like 4 pillars of huge lore when it comes to like the mist and everything and the reckoning, and then you have Annie. Like all the other 4 champions, Gwen, Viego, Lucian, Thresh, they all have huge parts in the story, and then there's Annie.
I mean, even Volibear is like a big god, you know, of a whole region, like of a triplet god set, and then like you said, there's a girl that has fire powers.
Pyromaniac girl who killed their sister. No big deal.
You know, just the classic.
Classic, right? As a Shaco main, I mean, it's better than what he has for lore, aka nothing.
Yeah, that's very fair.
Just straight magic resist being kind of pumped out from Brissy here in the top lane. I mean, obviously it helps deal with the Gwen and the Annie, but too much AD damage could be their demise. Neversaw goes for the flash. Gets a bait. The Weaver's Wall yet again! Ulti-Gator goes for the ultimate and just gets dunked under! Neversaw straight out playing this. Soap! Woo! Soap saves the day! A hero in the wings! The Soap call was blasted to the sky, but Seraphine has her own blast. This one of vocal quality. As supportal combat here in the mid lane will prove huge for both teams. It's not over yet. Soap's trying to sidestep into a wall. I'm not sure that'll ever work, but regardless, manages to save a bit of the play. He does have the janitor skin. So he's trying to clean up the competition. Very thematic for a player named Soap, but again, the action doesn't stop.
I mean, Neversaw just cannot keep getting away with it.
I mean, I don't think that was on Neversaw.
With a kill. Oh my god.
I think the Ignite. It's too good. Ignite TP, by the way, very cool. While Neversaw, she played that very well. I will say that I think the success of that play really relies on OT-Gator going full tunnel mode. He put on the blinders and saw nothing but blood, and I think that's what ended up in the catastrophe that laid out.
I completely agree. I definitely think you want to tap the brakes just a little bit if you're OT-Gator here, right? Your bot lane's ahead, your Gwen is very ahead, and you're playing Viego, a champion that all he needs to do is auto somebody smite them a single time in a fight, get a reset. I think you just need to slow it down and let these champions that are ahead like do their thing instead of trying to overly force these plays.
I have to commend Briz. He's doing phenomenally well in the face of Neversaw, to be transparent. And I don't know his background in mid lane. It's so crazy. This series has been such a flip of the script, right? We might have to talk about here in just a moment. It's mid too easy. It's gonna be the target. Has Gwen as immune, I'm sure. Waiting for the perfect moment to use it. It's gonna be right now. Perfect timing. Gonna dive into tower. A little bit of a miscommunication. They'll get the entire Volibear ult out. And now they'll lose a plate mid. There's typing in all chat, but I don't want to see it quite yet. Soap looking for an opportunity. Goes for the wall, misses everything on plot player, but Ezreal's a hard champion to lock down. OT-Gator takes the lantern, the safe passage over under tower, and they try to make that play without Luke being there the entire time. Maybe if they just waited, it'd be a little bit different.
For sure. I definitely think having a little bit of patience is always nice.
Maybe it's just because they're thinking about the previous 2 games, but they currently are in the lead. They have the luxury of time. They can take time with these longer plays to extenuate that lead, but you know, forcing it too early, as we can clearly see, kind of ruined its success rate.
Yeah, I mean, Viego coming down like you know, Ezreal has Neversaw, falling very low mid, but just consistently living through this D-Shield, and I'm assuming second wind creating pattern that UNA loves to abuse. Yeah.
So just getting completely poked out, as you mentioned. You know, Leona having a tough time in the poke lanes. Thresh, unfortunately, also in that same regard. Ryan looking for more objectives globally, too.
Ryan trying to pressure mid too easy here, but I don't know what he can really do as he's caught out.
the 1v1 situation, Brissy's abilities will go by the wayside due to the fact that Gwen was immune, but Ryan's here to try and choke things out. Unfortunately, dive under tower. Luton's going to be in a 1v2 situation. They almost get full comboed to death, but luckily able to get themselves out. Luckily also as well, no true shot barrage coming through from the Ezreal quite yet.
Luton did remember to use a barrier that time, which was very crucial
Summoner use,
to surviving.
pretty cool.
Yeah, hey, if anybody doesn't think you can learn over a series, take that as proof.
Yeah, there you go.
We are adapting.
So, as I was alluding to before the action starts, and I'll probably get interrupted again, but it's so interesting how in this grand finals, it almost feels like a flip of the script. People were speculating that maybe Ganking Private Ryan would be the team to role swap. We have this game in which Mid2Easy and Briz have role swapped. We had thought that maybe Cyberbullies had the early game prowess, but game 1 and 2 is all early game from Ganking Private Ryan. It looks like Luden using yet another summoner to live! It's crazy, but it works!
He's 2 for 2 on summoner usage.
2! Let's go! And he gets to enjoy the game better for it.
For sure. Brizzy just constantly getting shoved by the spider so much then.
Soap with the flash hook finds a prime target. The stun's there, but the damage is gone! The exhaust on the OT Gator means no one gets to execute. Proton Plot player finds someone in the targets. Seraphine will find one of their own. And unfortunately, the proactive play just gets disassembled by the likes of Ganking Private Ryan.
Ganking Private Ryan finding 2 kills on the back end of that too. This is...
Briz?
Okay.
Never saw Briz going into a 1v1 situation in the mid lane. Never saw just buying time, buying resources. It's clearly a bait. You gotta learn at some point! Oh! Never mind! I'll shut my mouth! Briz, wait! Okay. I mean, if that wasn't the Alpha Chad moment of the series, I don't know what was.
That was incredible. Briz picking up the solo kill onto Neversaw. Yes, he flashed, but it does not matter. Finally, she is killed in lane.
She finally dies in lane, and these cheeky bait tactics will finally be punished. Yes, it goes 1 for 1, but that was super cool.
I mean, he also gave over the gold to the support Seraphine,
True.
so honestly...
Also true.
Best outcome you could really have, besides living, of course. Living much better, but, you know.
Why is Cyberbullies
Second
best
best.
top laner their mid laner, and their best mid laner's their top laner? What's happening?
They got to the grand finals like this, so think about the teams that they beat.
Sure,
They didn't know the cheat code yet.
Okay, here comes the coin. Just minimal damage on the Ezreal. Sure. Okay, never mind. That stacked up pretty quickly. Proton Plat player losing pretty much 1 arm there. Does have the poke opportunity. Luden does have an angle here with half HP Ezreal. It could be a look.
Yeah, especially with the Viego, you have a lot of dive threat.
Ryan's
I mean,
in
yes.
the wings. Weaver's wall's almost up, so they can slide in if necessary. But that'll go by the wayside. Mid2Easy here on the bottom of the map. As we see on the other side, we do see Briz kind of high-fiving OT Gator as he walks past Rip Herald. You know, I do have to admit, while it is currently 7-7 and, you know, just a couple hundred gold, or yeah, 300 gold specifically away from both teams, I have to commend the resiliency of Cyberbullies and to really consider what changes they needed to make before draft and then executing on them in game.
I mean, 100%. And that's a great thing to mention too, especially coming after, I believe it was, what, 29-2 last game?
29-2 or 3, maybe, at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, 29-3, I think. But either way, coming after, or coming out of a game like that, it takes balls to play as aggressive as they have been. And honestly, they've been doing it well. Like you said, they cleaned up the early game. They switched the champions they were playing. They came in with a different draft strategy. And so far, so good. They're being rewarded for it.
See whether or not they'll be able to continue to demonstrate that. Nothing really too odd coming out of the build path, although I do see an early Banshee's Veil coming through for Ryan. It's going to be a pretty important pick, I think, with the likes of Annie, although with everything else, it's going to be popped off pretty easily, I would say.
Yeah, I mean,
Burden Barrier gives that shield to you as well, so that's a good consideration. See, there it goes. It just gets queued off. OT Gator dashes through the tombstones. So much damage! Ryan knows that Viego's going to go for the ulti, but he gets it anyway. The reset's here. He'll finally fall. Proton Pot Player will find 2 kills under his own tower. Brissy's here as well, and the big Mega Bear Dunk will follow suit. Will he run through? Death Sentence will keep him just from diving a little bit further, but what is this, a 1 for 2? No, a 2 for 2. Good trades.
Yeah, I mean,
9-9 still. Gold lead.
Luton getting a lot of solo farm here, but all in all, pretty even after that play.
Yeah, pretty even, although this tower may potentially fall. Not going to use too many of his abilities. If he uses his dash here, he's prime target for being engaged on, but there's always that kind of decision making when it comes to Lucian. You know, what abilities you use for that double stack auto passive and try to burn that structure down even further. Vossler won't be able to turn this away alone for long. Luckily, reinforcements are on the way.
For sure. Gwen yet to die, getting even further ahead in the CS advantage, by the way. Set up to 70 CS now. It's going to be on GPR, I think, to shut down that champion. They had an opportunity in that fight, but they decided not to chase and she got out. Like, yeah, she didn't get a kill, but Gwen gets a lot better as the game goes on. So does Yone, but I think Gwen has a much better team fight.
First, he just wins that flat out, right? Against Annie of all champs with his full MR build.
I think
also,
so,
that's going to be much to Brissy's detriment if he doesn't pivot to armor soon.
For sure. I mean, it's so hard to deal with the Kraken Slayer Viego, the Lucian calling, especially when you're as fat as Volibear is. If you don't get any armor, those abilities will shred through you.
We see not Hextech, but frick.
I believe it's Infernal. It says
no,
Chemtech. Sorry, Chemtech.
Yeah, Chemtech, that one. Available. Instead, it's going to be 3 members of Cyberbullies kind of conceding that notion, here to be on the top side. Where the Baron is, I think it's a pretty apt call, although I would like to see more resources being used at this mid-tier 1 tower. It's going to be an engage. He'll dash through the stones and be stunned and then thwarted away, but the needlework will make quick work and quickly sow demise for that of this Ryan on the Talia. Not going to be a good look there. Never saw going to fall as well. It's going to be just money being divvied up, paychecks being issued out. A nice ultimate from Drabois, but no pressure going forward. Instead, they'll actually be the reserved ones and call for the Baron, knowing that they both have the jungler and the huge mid lane carry doomed and dead.
For sure, and I mean, GPR just being a little bit greedy, having never saw solo the Baron, and Ryan had to walk there so late.
Do this still. I think they can. Oh, never mind.
Oh, they have plenty of damage.
Absolutely, never mind.
Oh my god.
Proton Plot Player face checking a full Annie combo. This Baron is Cyberbullies, and Cyberbully fans rejoice! So plans yet another death sentence and forces a 1v5 from Brissy. I got news for you, buddy. You ain't winning that. Maybe it was just to buy time. Ryan's closing in, but they'll be able to dash out. Soap's going to be the look. It's going to be Neversaw looking for a kill, and yeah, sure, Soap died, but like, dude, you saved your whole team and you got Baron.
Really, really, really good mid game coming out from CB here. And just like we talked about GPR, getting a little bit sloppy after last win. If they don't know, they are not 10k gold ahead. They are 5k gold behind now. And you have to play like it. And right now, they are just disrespectfully walking up into a Gwen, into an Annie, and they keep getting punished for it.
Yeah, and we see Mitsuizi knows that he's on the cusp of doing great damage. Rushing the Rabadon's death cap will assuredly lock in that notion.
For sure. As soon as Gwen hits that, the game gets so much harder, especially with his Baron buff shoving in. It is on GPR to defend as best they can and call this bleeding. You need to apply a bandage. You cannot keep bleeding resources or the game just becomes impossible.
I do wonder, you know, normally in the situations like this, and kind of how we projected the matchup to go, Ganking Private Ryan would rely on the fact that they'd have like a hyper late game scaling insurance policy, but they don't have it this game. And an engage, Soap is not allowed to play Leona. Soap is strictly on threat duty as another hook lands. On to Neversaw. Neversaw's on the back line. Goes for the rewind, but they can't go back in time. Instead, they're fast forwarding to a gray screen. As now Cyberbullies march down bottom lane. It's tier 3 they're looking at. This might be their first inhibitor of the series. Woo! Soap is on a murder spree. A man possessed. Probably is channeling his inner Whippo right now. Proton Plot player barely limps away. But Mid2Easy's here. Unfortunately, Jerboas will be the target. Now Brissy will have to get on all fours and run away. Holy cow, Cyberbullies. This is the team we've been waiting for. I don't know where the other two teams were playing, but this is Cyberbullies right here.
They're definitely cyberbullying GPR this game.
Yeah.
That is for sure. I mean, Soap just hitting so many critical hooks in a row, and every single one leading to a kill.
This dude is like legit not allowed to play Leona. He can only play.
We actually had him on Leona duty, by the way. What is this?
Yeah, what
And
the hell?
to call it out, his Lancers have been really solid too the entire
True.
game. He's been allowing his teammates to play really aggressively, and they always have this option of escape.
Right.
Please
I mean,
do not put it back on
that's-
Leona.
That's yeah. Do not let him play Leona again. That's the duality of like a good Thresh player, right? Knowing when you can be on the aggressive front, when you need to be on that kind of way out of the way of the team fight position for the escape with safe passage. So kudos to him for adapting it. Speaking adaptation, we do see Brissy does have the Bramble Vest on lock, so some armor going into his stat pocket, but you know, 11 to 16, we're seeing just about AK gold lead.
Ryan in trouble
Ryan
here.
looking for a blue buff. Will have to forfeit his life potentially. Loon will go for the flash. Barely misses the hook here from Soap. A fantastic ult from Jerboas, but it won't do anything but by just 1 second. Brissy will be the target. Briss will just run right through him and end up going through. And we'll end up going into the team fight. Neversaw gets blasted using the blast cone itself. OT Gator running forward, dashing forward. Vossler goes for the double ult, gets double damage. The exhaust is here. He'll kill PPP. But PPP will be able to get that lockdown. Jerboas gets the shutdown gold. Soap trying to help out the best they can, but it's all for naught. Neversaw running into Cyberbully base. Does have the opportunity to turn on to Luton with the triple Q stacked up. You got to be careful, Luton. Don't fall for it. You fell for it. GG. You're dead.
Oh, but Mid2Easy there to clean that up.
Mid2Easy's godlike. That's what happens. And now the TP as well. Nice. I mean, Soap's, even though they're not hitting these final two hooks, they are creating an immense amount of pressure that's being respected in distance. So it's almost effectively doing the same thing. And now another tier 2 tower going to be claimed by Cyberbullies. The dragon here on the tail will be their next consolation prize as well.
And I had called out a range advantage on the side of GPR, but when Cyberbullies is playing like this, it does not matter. They just picked a much easier to play comp. I mean,
Right.
like Viego Annie, that's as easy as it gets. You just stun one person, blow them up,
press
if Viego
R.
gets
It's
resets.
crazy.
Yeah, like and they're playing it so well.
Yeah, we have to commend Briz on. It may seem troll in other respects, but his willingness to just throw Tibbers out there whenever there's anyone stunnable is proving instrumental for success through this mid lane.
And on top of that, I don't know if you've picked up on it. Tibbers has been blocking a lot of Ryan's rocks, actually.
True.
She's been taking so much damage in these fights.
Like literally, that in itself, the willingness to be able to do that, not looking for like, oh dude, I have to land the 5-man stun. Looking for any stun for follow-up is huge. And even in fact, I mean, Briz has been following up on his full combo himself regardless, without even any assistance. And I mean, not to say that Neversaw hasn't been performing well, but definitely not as well as she could be because of that pressure of the Annie.
I completely agree. I mean, like you said, even though the R was missed there, it's having that go button and that just consistent idea of what you want to do that CB is playing around, which is fantastic to see. You love to see that engages Ryan is just wandering around the jungle here. But on top of that, I mean, with the Malignance, Annie's R is such a low cooldown, you can really just use it for a pig to push in waves, and it does not matter. I believe it's like 40 seconds.
It's not long with Malignance. That is absolutely true. In fact, if you do it correctly...
Oh,
and yet, Caster Curse is the coolest thing ever, as we see Neversaw just beat the... beat the crap out of Briz there. Brissy now the target. Baron will be secured and find himself taking just so much physical damage. Yeah, you have the Kanik Rookhorn, but I don't know if you noticed, it didn't do anything against 2 physical damage dealers. It's so weird.
I do want to give some credit to Briz on the Annie. I'm gonna say that was all just stalling to allow his team to get the Baron, and forcing Neversaw to fight you instead of TP.
True.
I think it was Gigabrain, and who cares about dying? He's already 5 dead.
That a tactical int, you know?
Yeah, seriously. A Baron buff for 4 people, 300 gold for you anyways. Life's pretty good.
Okay, they want to look for an angle. Luden's gonna go in. A fantastic
my God,
engage!
Soap.
And oh my God, again! Dude, who is this Soap player? Because he wasn't show up in the last 2 games, I'll tell you that right now. Cyberbullies are knocking on the base doors. And actually, no, they're just crashing them down. 1 inhibitor gone. Top lane inhibitor gone. They're going for Nexus Turrets. They're gonna end them! Oh my God! Cyberbullies do have a chance, and this is the series, ladies and gentlemen. It is now 2-1. Cyberbullies clench it up. Holy cow!
That was incredible.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, what a game.
That's insane.
But
I mean, again,
being down 0-2. Yeah, no, go ahead, go.
I was just gonna say, mental for a team that most people would presume would collapse mentally, right? In a situation like that, resilience. You have to say it. That is chief demonstration of mental resilience. Not only in the face of a 2-0 loss, they tried some new things. They changed things up. They even role swapped, and it ended up being beneficial for that team. Ended up getting themselves a series win when. If they didn't, the series is over. I mean, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, they really stepped up, especially with the role swap. I mean, we talked on it a lot, but they're in a situation where they lose, they go home, and yet they have the confidence to put players on their off roles, and they win with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, back on the analyst desk, guys, and talking about that game. It was very interesting, even straight from the draft, right? I don't know if you guys expected these role swaps. I know we talked about how it's something that Cyberbullies can do, but to see it come out in their 3rd game really showed that there were, desperate in a way, right? They really wanted to make a change, and they did that. They were like, what we've been doing clearly has not been working. They made an adjustment, and it worked. And it's really great to see. Now we've got a series on our hands, 2-1, still in favor of King of Pirate Ryan. But hey, this is gonna feel good for Cyberbullies. This is gonna be a big momentum shift, a nice little morale pep, and I think going into the next game, we have a lot to look forward to.
Yeah,
for sure, 100%. I mean, this is where reverse sweeps are built, coming off of momentum from a game like this. This is how you do it.
Exactly. So we're gonna.
Didn't someone call for a 3-1?
Who was that? I don't know. I don't remember.
That might have been you.
I might have said 3-1. Scratch his head.
No. Going on into a little bit of a break. We're gonna get right back with the action. We're gonna give the players and the viewers everyone some time to relax, and so don't go anywhere.
Give me time to relax, bro.
Don't go anywhere. Anyways, the hype will keep on going. Let's see what happens. Game 4 coming to you soon. Hello and welcome back to Game 4, 2-1 in favor of Ganking Private Ryan. We have a new person with us right now on the analyst desk. Unfortunately, someone did need to leave, but now we got Connor, otherwise known as Spliff. Welcome to the analyst desk. How you feeling? Did you catch any of the games coming into here?
I was actually on my way home on the bus, and I got to peep a couple of a little bit of game number 3. I want to say, not last game.
Okay.
But when I did get home, I tuned in, and it was really tied up. Game 3 looked like a complete steamroll, which I thought was crazy.
Yeah, I think that was game 2.
That was
game
nuts.
2.
Oh, that was game 2. Okay.
Yeah, you came in at a pretty high, I'd say high point for the side of Ganking Private Ryan, but now we see that Cyberbullies, they came back swinging. It's game 3. They were able to have a handed lead throughout most of the game, despite Ganking Private Ryan trying to look for opportunities. So not quite the same beatdown, but still really nice momentum. And going into this next game, draft starting up soon, so we're gonna go ahead and get over to that. Whew.
All right. So I can't remember. Has each team been on the same side this whole time?
Yeah, CB picked red side for all, so they were red side and then they lost the first 2 games and then they picked red every time. So this is the first time we're seeing the teams on opposite sides actually.
All right,
We're
and
seeing, yeah.
Forgive me, I'm unfamiliar. Who's choosing the sides?
The loser chooses the side. So as DPR just lost last game, they decided to pick red side here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. We got Briz versus Brissy in the top. That's so funny. It's like
No, dude, casting is so impossible, by the way, because they have the same name. Like my brain wants to say one when I mean the other. It's rough.
Yeah, it's like the doppelganger up top lane.
For sure.
No,
I do want to say, Spliff, are there any champs you're looking forward to seeing? Is there anybody you just like in general?
Oh,
What would get you hyped up?
I'm an OT. I'm a one-trick Blitzcrank player, so that's all I've ever played. That's all I ever do play. Yumi ban, that's a waste of a ban in my opinion. Is Yumi going off this game or this series or what?
It was picked game 1, or I think it was picked game 1 or 2. I can't remember now, but no, it was picked game 1. It was picked game 1, and they've been scared of it ever since. They lost lane really hard, getting 2v2 killed by a Xayah Yumi twice. So they decided to get rid of the Yumi pick because they just can't deal with it.
Bro, yeah, that's crazy to me, man. If we're having we are not having problems against this Yumi. Like, ooh, nah, we need to level up. If we're having problems against Yumi, that's crazy. Skarner first pick, okay. Oh man, I'm so out of it. Honestly, didn't Skarner get reworked? Does he still have the pole ulti?
It's different now. Like, I mean, his ulti is a skill shot, and it can grab up to 3 people and suppress them, instead of being a point and click with 1 like it was before.
Okay. All right.
We're seeing him top lane and jungle as well, so it's iffy as to where he'll go.
All right, I'm liking this. Yeah, Janet.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, yeah, solid peel. We love to see
I mean,
that.
Janna blind is interesting, but I mean, if you're good on it, it's always good.
This would be the best moment to pick Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank and Janna is so good. Blitzcrank.
No, I completely agree. Yeah.
Oh,
Janna's. I don't know about you, but whenever I play against a Janna, they always walk up so far for no reason, just because they like move fast, And I feel like that is prime time to hook them, pop R, smash the shield. Blitzcrank and a Janna would go crazy.
Yeah, that'd be nice. But we have never saw on the red team. That's pretty hard to deal with. We don't know what they're playing yet. I'm surprised we haven't banned against Neversaw actually. Like, is there even a reason to try? Oh, there's the hook character. Okay, that's good enough. That's like.
Yeah, Soap went crazy last game on the Thresh. I was completely 1v9, so not surprising that we're seeing they get picked up again. Same with Luton. He played Luton last game. They picked up early kills. It makes sense that they're picking this same bot lane. Run it back. It worked last time, so it'll work again, hopefully. Lucian also has a dash to get out of the Jarvan ulti, so always very nice. The Smolder getting picked up. I'm assuming towards Neversaw. She did play it in game 1, but can go bot lane as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think I would prefer to see Neversaw play this Smolder. I don't know why. But yeah, this bot lane on the blue side's looking super disgusting. It's a very, very strong bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it earlier, but if Janna gets hit by a hook, especially with this Lucian paired with the Thresh, she is just going to instantly die. Or, I mean, at the very least, have to expend a flash. So.
Yeah, right. Like that's. Yeah, that makes the hook super deadly. Lucian's actually one of my favorite 80 carries to play with down bot lane is Blitz for that exact reason. It just makes him just instant kill. Smolder
Right.
2 bot lane, that's would be such a early rough or oh wow, I mixed up my words. Rough early game is what I was gonna say. I want to be playing that as the Smolder into the Lucian. No
Yeah,
sir.
I agree. So most likely we'll see Neversaw pick that up in the mid lane as Annie and Orianna getting banned out by Neversaw. Annie, she had a really, really tough time dealing with that last game, so makes sense that they banned that out. And Orianna just always a solid control mage. I
Is
can
this
punish
okay?
basically anyone.
Ooh, we are banning out Brissy right now. That's crazy. We
Yeah.
are not throwing away 3 bans back to back to back with the Yumi and both Brissy bans. That's
The
crazy.
Ziggs getting picked up for, I'm assuming, PPV bot lane. I love Ziggs bot so much. I don't know about you, Split, but I think that champion is just Thanos.
Which? Oh, sorry. You said Ziggs?
Ziggs, yeah, Ziggs.
Yeah, dude. I hate how they gave him like just random main character hacks with his tower damage. Like, all right, like he's already a decent enough champion on his own, but they gave him this random just like steroided tower damage for no reason at all.
Yeah, I mean, and the execute 2 on the W as Hale getting locked in for Briz. I mean, that is a complete ego pick, no?
That's
Surely
crazy.
Brizzy has something.
Go pick.
And the Malphite getting insta locked in. It looked like they were ready for it. It could have been a bait. I don't think Brizzy's gonna have any fun in this game dealing with that.
What's going on with this top lane right now? That's crazy. We are throwing away bans. We're trying to ban out Brissy and then pick Kale. Like,
yeah,
we are not serious.
I don't know.
We are not serious right now.
You're banning out Orin Poppy when you pick Kale? I feel like she just dumpsters both of those champs anyways. Seems like they have a relatively inconsistent draft strategy.
Kale's a super good character, honestly. One of my good friends is a Diamond Kale player, and watching them play Kale is super fun because they will get absolutely stomped on and then just come back by level 16 with that stupid passive they have. I believe it's the passive, right?
Yeah.
They just get crazy buffs. It's the damage on Kale and the power potential is so interesting because it totally roller coasters like throughout the whole game. Like at level 1, you actually do a decent amount, and then level 2 through I believe 6 or 7 is where you get the next buff. Up until then is like, yeah, you're just garbage. But yeah, just all those spikes throughout until you get your next level. She does have crazy carry potential.
Yeah, definitely. And we're going back to the analysts. Alspike, how are you feeling about the draft? What do you think about the Kale, that Aurelion Sol, massive scaling coming in from the side of GPR here, or from CB? Sorry, you're muted.
Yeah, Cyberbullies. Sorry. Again. Cyberbullies, once again, like you said, a lot of scaling here. I also like that they've coupled that with a lot of frontline in the form of the Skarner and Thresh. I think that's going to be a nice little kind of buffer zone here for these carries to kind of play out the game. My biggest worry is that, like, who's gonna kill the Malphite? You know, who's killing the Malphite? Who's killing the Jarvan if he builds tank? Like, because in the Jarvan here, I think, like, yeah, I go my first that main damage item, but after that, I start building a little bit more tankier and MR because, like, who's going to be killing me when we get into the 25-30 minute range? And you have both Aurelion Sol and Kale going AP. Now, the thing is, if Kale goes AD, this is a lot more interesting. I can see that being as another option for them. But all in all, I think that Cyberbullies have built themselves a very safe draft. A game where they're very clearly, you know, they know we're on match point and they can't afford to take as many risks. I think the last game was an exception for them because they knew they had to pull out something, right? But now we're here game 4 and they're probably feeling like, you know, they can't afford to just be flipping the coin on drafts anymore, and so this kind of provides them some insurance throughout all stages of the game, especially as you have the Lucian and the Thresh for the early to mid, and then you have the Iranian and Kale to kind of help you out through the mid to late game. Kale more so for the late game and all that. On the side GPR though, we have the Smolder again, and that's kind of been a prime pick for Ganking Pirate Riot throughout a lot of their series. So we'll have to see whether or not that GPR are able to kind of weather the storm and use the fact all this utility from the Ziggs, the Janna to gain leads and in lanes, right? I think it's gonna all come down to who can side lane better, who can match towers better, and who can match objectives better. All in all, though, we're just gonna have to see. I personally favor, I'd say Cyberbullies draft here. What do you guys think?
Cliff, you can go ahead.
Ooh, it's like I'm feeling like 51% GPR, 49% Cyberbullies.
Okay.
Like it's super close, but I think it's just ever so slightly favored with GPR.
Yeah, I agree with Cliff. I think I'd say a little more than 51%, but I do favor GPR as well. I think that Smolder is just such a strong champion. Neversaw played it really well earlier, and having the Jarvan, having the Malphite with that front line, if the Smolder survives for long enough, he's just going to dish out so much damage. It's really hard to deal with, I think.
Yeah, if we're talking late game, it's like we got Kale versus Smolder, and the people piloting those champions, I think I'd favor Neversaw's Smolder over Brizz's Kale.
Yeah,
Right.
I do want
I
to
think
mention that
Kale
I
is
think
close.
CB
I think I might have.
I think CB has a small lack of engage, right? They're really relying on soap landing the thresh hooks,
Yeah.
because otherwise
Skarner.
you have to have Skarner flash in and then.
But like, yeah, you know what? The Skarner trying to get through the walls into that comp is really difficult, right? A lot of interrupts. So
Sure.
we're just gonna have to see how it ends up playing out, right?
I'm reading the chat and it says mid to easy Kale is about to cook hard. So was I wrong to say Briz is going to be playing Kale? Is mid to easy jumping on Kale? Because that would totally change the outcome.
They had roll swap last game, so it could be mid too easy on Kale.
That would
Interesting.
be that could
Yeah.
potentially make the
Okay.
favorite 50-50, I'd say.
We just got confirmation that it is mid to easy on Kale mid. Just want to throw that in there. So I guess we're gonna have to see what ends up happening now with this kind of lane swaps, right? Going into the fourth game now. Finals, Summit Finals, Season 4. Let's show the audience what they came to see. Match point. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome back to Summoner's Rift Game 4 of the Summit Premier League Season 4 Grand Finals. On the blue side of the map, we are going to have Cyberbullies. On the red side of the map, Ganking Private Ryan. Here with me is Connor as the play-by-play. I am your color caster and host. And how are we feeling, Connor?
Yo, we're doing pretty good. You know, I would have liked to see an invade though. We got the side swap, so a little bit of a diffy.
Who would you like to see invade? Who from
Anybody, don't care.
All right.
I just want to see some action go down. We are totally mirrored right now across lanes. Look at the map.
Yeah, they're playing safe.
This almost looks choreographed. Like everybody is literally on like the. That's
the
crazy.
5-point spread. They got the 5-point spread going on. You know, there's a lot riding on this game, right? Cyberbullies, right? One game away from being knocked out of the series. This is 2-1 in not their favor. And Ganking Private Ryan, you know, they don't want to take this to Game 5. That's a lot of pressure on their shoulders if this does end up going to Game 5. And that momentum is going to be insane. So they probably just want to limit as many possible chances for like something going down, you know? So they're just going to play it super safe, line up perfectly as the game starts and we see some trading going on in the mid lane.
Ooh, and we're getting the hooks right off the bat. Look at that. Soap getting just a message across the board. No level 2 for the play. Throwing up the, I don't know, what is it, the banner?
The mastery, yeah.
Yeah, oh man, love to see it. That was cool.
Level 2 gank from Proton Plat player, potentially. We do have mid to easy up in the top side of the map with the fleet footwork. Going to be going into that Malphite as...
Right. Close to level 2. Ooh,
nice.
Flash in the dash attack. Okay.
Nice. Okay, they're gonna take that. Put them flat. Gets the flash away. That's gonna open up this Malphite.
Hook number 2. Missing.
Not gonna land. Okay. I like it. They're getting aggressive already. You know, they're not afraid. Cyberbullies. I know I was saying earlier. You know, it is match point, but you know they're not gonna give up anything. They're gonna play like this is just any other game, and that's the way you gotta play when when things are this tense and this so much on the line. You can't let the pressure get to you.
No, for real. There's a lot of action going on, but look at that. He doesn't need a hook right off the bat. He plays at the start, almost read the flash. If that hook was just a little bit longer.
Yeah, and that's gonna be thumbs blown. 2 for 2 on each side, but both flashes up for the side of Lutin and Soap. And they're going to feel really good about that. Ryan now, flashless is going to be very, very, very easy to kill if he missteps. Alright, he has a TP available. He probably will try and look for an angle to use that as soon as he can. But remember, Lutin is also really low, because he does take some damage. Hook not going to land.
These hooks are always on point, but they're just like missing a little bit of length. The distance red team is keeping right now on bot side is really solid, doing that spacing very properly. Timing those backs too. Foster gonna stay. This is funny. We have Never Saw out of health, but Briz out of mana, so kind of an awkward spot for both characters.
I mean, when you're ASOL, right, you're hitting that Q button all the time. Eventually, you're gonna run out. As this ward does catch OT Gator, so Brizzy should know.
Top gank, but
unless he didn't see.
OT Gator coming in on the Skarner, charging up the dash, going in. All right, we're on to Brizzy. Now 1 damage.
Just walks away.
Not enough. Yep,
he just walks away. Okay, Gator predicting. I don't know what. Maybe he predicted the flash into the opposing bush because he was trying. He didn't like attempt to go into the middle brush there.
Oh, PPP is gonna come through. Oh, we might find both junglers gonna collide. We're here in the mid lane.
Yeah.
I think Proton Plat players knows what's up, but here's Vossler
nice
coming in. A little bit of a drag there. Protein Plat player. Doesn't take any tower shots, so Never Saw almost out of all resources, but just gonna stay. Maybe they take the juicy bait. Ace wants to stick around, thinks he can do enough damage to get something on Never Saw.
He doesn't want to lose any of these minions. Proton Plat player helping push and get it back.
Ryan throwing bombs. Soap right now. Soap kind of low.
This is dangerous.
Have to throw the shield out. Tries to turn on the hook, but yet again spaced out.
Okay, as Drake comes up and Proton Plat player is in the perfect position to take it. Now you do have the Zig, so it's going to be a little bit hard to take, especially given looking at the health values here. Going for a lane gank, actually. And Gator is on this side of the map. Now, will he be there to answer as his wave? They're trying to get this crash, but it's hard.
Playing these baits so hard. Ryan Baited perfectly. Proton Plat player coming out of the bushes. Soap is super low. Runs into the bushes. Hopefully he can get some help. No, first blood's going to go to Ryan. Ignited, and here comes OT Gator here to finish it out. Oh, they're going to get another one here.
Another one?
Lucian. Oh, no, not quite with the flash. Gets just out of distance, and now OT Gator has to escape the dangers. Well, he might be able to do it. Yeah, he's pretty tanky. He's good.
Okay, 1-for-1 ends up being as Ryan is the one who ends up getting that kill. Meanwhile, Soap, actually, no, my bad. Gator is the one who confirms the kill after Soap tried to take out the Ignite, narrowly gets away, but Gator confirms it. So that's gonna be a kill for the bot laner of Ganking Private Ryan and a kill for the jungler of Cyberbullies. I think Ryan's gonna be okay with that. That gold on him is gonna be very valuable, especially considering the kind of pressure's gonna apply. Look at him, 10 CS down in this lane.
Dude, Neversaw is doing so much damage right now. Here comes the ulti. Dragon versus Dragon. All these auto attacks doing so much. We've got to be able to
he's just
There
dead.
it is. We're getting the kills finally in mid lane. We're doing damages. The 6 has been hit.
Yeah, that's really big. The kill onto the Smolder is going to be really, really powerful for this lane. And, you know, she was already dominating, excuse me. But now with the Cole and the tier, Neversaw is going to be enjoying herself as Grubs gets started up by Ganking Private Ryan. What will Cyberbullies do in response? They don't exactly have vision, but they should know based off the movement of the map. You saw Brissy head down as he got a wave crash in. Gator just going to go ahead and confirm that, and they're just not going to be able to get the Drake, and it's going to be a free objective, no trade available.
Yeah, that was a tough one. He had OT Gator just had to run mid. Not going to get that last grabber there. He's going to look for a gank on Brissy, though? No.
What can be done here?
Ordered out.
No TP's available. This is full 2v2.
From the behind. Oh, Skarner can run through walls. Okay, Riot. I see what you were doing. All right. Cool.
Yeah, Gator's just gonna use his E to get through that wall. Is gonna be able to get away pretty safely. And oh,
there's a hook right between the minions. Actually surgical right now. Ryan's gonna have to use that W to escape. Exhaust has been laid down.
Wow.
No more
nice exhaust by Vasa to keep Ryan alive.
Full health right now. It doesn't do much, but it's doing just enough. It might not be enough. It is almost honest.
Oh!
It's not honest enough. The shields.
So close. How close is Ryan to level 6? Louis needs to back immediately, because if he stays a little bit too long, a couple minions over and he might tick.
Ooh, Janet got the fancy
Super mega.
Now, Sniper Tornado. Not gonna do it.
No, but this is a lot of time. Look at the waves here as we see Gator coming down from the jungle. 6 just now ticking. They're alone. Proton Plat is on the other side of the map. They gotta be careful here.
Ooh, Brissy is going to get taken down in a 1v1. Mid to easy. Throwing out the solo bolo right now. Proton Platberg might come out for the revenge kill, though. Level 6 is online.
Oh, another control ward just provided vision. Oh my god, getting kited.
Ooh, the ulti. And goodbye.
Nice kill going on. Kill confirmed. But still, that doesn't feel good for Brissy. I mean, this kill, getting ahead and just even getting any leads in this game is going to be super important. It just accelerates her towards that level 16 power spike. And yeah, all in all, I think not bad for mid to easy despite Proton Plat player getting that kill. The gold is more valuable on that scale.
Yeah, Brissy didn't even get an assist either, so it's just the
net benefit
injury, you know, that
yeah.
Kale's just going to get ahead further. Big juicy wave for Ryan right here.
Yeah, he's just gonna clear that. He's Ziggs. He doesn't. He just needs to throw a couple abilities out, and that entire wave is gone.
Ooh,
It looks like the bot lane here for Cyberbullies are gonna prep this river to try and clear out some vision. This Drake has not been even attempted yet.
Yeah,
as we're approaching the 10 mark.
minutes, pushing 10 minutes right now for this first Drake. By the way,
It's just been a lot of trading kills around the map so far. As I say that,
OT Gator, yeah, going for another kill. Kill number 6 on the board is Neversaw gonna drop. Very good flash. Flash into the bushes. Yet again, Neversaw out of mana and out of health. Gonna have to back off this one.
and I'm surprised Gator didn't choose to use his ultimate there to just kind of lock him Neversaw down a little bit longer there. I think that there could have been an angle for a kill. But maybe he was just trying to save it for in case of any larger fights, as he's been staying to this area. Right, he's looking for an angle to maybe get a kill into a Baron, but it looks like it's not gonna be found. Oh, it's easy.
Wait a minute. Hold the phones. Brissy with the solo bolo on the Kale. Oh my. Invest in Brissy stocks right now, right this second. Sell your mid to easy stocks and buy the Brissy stocks.
Okay, as Proton Plat Player takes this time to start up the Drake, the Gator has recalled, so there's going to be no one to contest. I wonder if they had vision of that, or is this just a blind start? No objective to counter take as well. Grubs will be spawning soon, but not for a while, as the Drake is just going to go straight on over to the side of Ganking Private Ryan. This is really good, really nice wave state, 2k gold ahead. Yeah, they're in a good state of this game.
We're just turning off of this dragon right now. Yeah, Soap goes for the hook. Doesn't find it, but definitely turned away that big damage from the red team. Red team is just chunking away at Thresh right there. Dragon online for the red team. First dragon to go down. 11 minutes in. We are just waiting for these dragons.
Yeah. As now we see Gator's going to be starting up these Void Grubs. It's going to be very important to take these. 3 were already secured by Ganking Pirate Ryan and
Plat Player going with a nasty dive. Good flash from Soap and a nice ultimate from Lucian to kind of spread everybody away. Keep everybody away. That was nice.
Nice use of the combo there. Just a little mini teaser of what the rest of these fights might turn out to look. Using the Cataclysm followed by the big giant bomb, the death bomb from the Ziggs. That's going to be the combo later on into these games. As you know, you put someone in the middle of that Cataclysm and then followed by the ultimate. So much damage taken. Luckily this time Soap did have the flash, but if he didn't, he would have been in a very dire situation. As never saw. Being really patient. Oh, if she walked any forward, the Gator would have been waiting in that bush. But she's playing safe. She knows her job. She's just trying to scale. 102.22 CS. What are the stacks at for the Smolder? Just out of curiosity, in the most recent game, 118, 112 minutes in the game. That's really good rate.
She's got perfect farm too. Oh, here we go. Threat detected. Going balls deep on 2 people right now. Ryan dropping pretty low, has to W out. Here comes Proton Plat Player. Oh, but Threat flashes in. The most manliest flash we've ever seen. Almost gets away, but gets popped just the last little bit right there. Lucian's now entered the fray and deleted from the fray as Brissy teleports in and ults right on top of his forehead. Ooh.
Nice reaction by Brissy. I don't know who called that, or if that was just a decision made by him to TP to this fight, but really saves the player. It could have gone a lot worse for Ganking Pirate Ryan, and now Ryan has TP of his own, can just match the kill in the top lane. Really nice moving around the map, really nice use of TPs to beat them on the map here.
Oh, yep, and 2 free play. It's not for the bot team, strangely enough, but first tower. Here we go.
Look at that gold. It's a shame that it's not going to the carries necessarily, but free gold's free gold. I mean, you take that, right?
Yeah, we take those. We have a first bounty as well. 150 gold on Never Saw. I mean, yeah, who would have guessed, right? I mean, she's got perfect farm leader in the game. I think she got the first blood too, if I'm not mistaken. No, that was bot lane, but
that was bot lane. But it's okay.
First solo kill.
Never Saw.
I'm actually surprised there was not more kills, but 9 kills, 14 minutes now. With only 1 dragon too. The next one up 2 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes. That's gonna give both these teams a lot of time to move around the map and decide what the decision making is. But a lot of it's gonna be centered around this. Now, Rift Herald is up as an objective on the map they can fight for, and we see that the positioning from both teams reflect that. They both know that this is a potential take from both teams. That's Proton Plat Player says this is the time to start it.
Yeah, Rift Herald. We might not have a dragon for a minute and a half, but we got a Rift Herald to deal with, and we have a lot of action potentially about to go down. 3 members from each side up in the top side.
Exactly. Never Saw clearing top wave is gonna have first move available, and looks like
Brissy. Oh, speaking about Lucian getting ultied on the forehead, that's number 2.
That's another fight.
Can we get a Malphite Lucian ulti counter going?
Guys,
I'm already at 2.
Oh no! Interrupted.
Yep, slap him with the sword. That was a very long range.
Oh my god! The explosive from Ryan securing the kill onto Soap.
Across the board, everybody's showing off their 3-pointer abilities. It's crazy.
And this game is going handedly over the course of, what was a minute? 3 kills for the side of Ganking Private Ryan as the gold lead balloons up to nearly 4K. Oh my god, no. Mitsu easy blows the flash, trying to get something. Just using the flashback there to just get away. Ryan.
What level? Okay, so Kale's, we got the level 11 power spike. It's looking not so great, but we've seen worse as Kale from Kale victories. We've seen much worse in the mid games from Kale victories.
We have. It does kind of look like the game is kind of getting away right now from Cyberbullies right now, as the objective bounties have now spawned in. Game decided that, hey, you guys are far enough behind that you need them, and that's going to be really important as all outer turrets are still up, so that's a lot of gold standing on the map. A lot of gold that they can quickly put into their pockets if they can take these towers, but it's going to be at the cost of some objectives. We see now Drake has spawned, and it is Chemtech Drake, meaning that it's will be not one of the Drakes that will be available for the soul. Nice thing to see for the side of Ganking Private Ryan. They do not want Chemtech Drake. If they could get an Infernal, that would be huge. They're really banking on an Infernal because it would just solidify their damage. It'd be so much extra, and it'd be really hard to come back from if you are Cyberbullies. But this Drake is going to go free. What can they get opposed on the opposite side of the map?
Yeah, it's wrapped. They just got the Rift Herald, so I mean, not really much they can do right now. And there was another tower that just got deleted, so they're gonna have to like maybe find a pick. Oh, here we go. Yeah, we're getting some top lane action.
Wow, Percy coming here to contest it. Never saw in the way.
Ooh, uh-oh. Yeah, this is looking dangerous. We have KLT online, but I think it might just get popped in. Yeah, just
doesn't even get used. There's no point.
No, whoa! I'm thinking too. Oh, what is going on mid lane? We have people just getting deleted. And when I say people, I mean Janna. Instantly deleted. Ryan's gonna be next. Gets hit by a nice play. Oh, tower touching a little bit too close there. But Flat player finishes the job. Getting slammed to the wall. Oh, the CC train getting absolutely murked. Doesn't matter. The Jarvan dash back into the tower range, and we're good.
Okay, wow, really nicely done by Cyberbullies to find an angle there. Are able to eliminate both Ryan and Vossler, and both of those kills I do believe go on over to threat detected, and that's really big. Asol gonna get some more money in his pocket as he does have one item and his boots completed on his way to his second. Gonna be important. That's a lot of momentum for this Asol as he continues to scale further into the game. But all in all, it ends up being nice because from the perspective of Cyberbullies, any positive. No, not quite yet. Brissy, not pulling the trigger. It's just him and the support, you know. So
yeah, that was really good awareness from Cyberbullies. Like as soon as they noticed Neversaw was top lane, they immediately started fighting, and they got a 2-for-1 for it. So that was solid. Oh, Mitsubishi might be in a weird spot.
Brissy just standing in the blue side jungle here, and just being a menace. I mean, no one can really kill him. If you look, he went runic. First item, which makes sense considering the amount of AP on the enemy team, as this kill did not end up going 80 quite yet, or if the kill is, then it's gonna be a while before she can get there. As a lot of pressure being put towards the top side of this map.
Here we go.
Wave just being cleared as they're just looking to take these towers using that Ziggs, using that 6W to execute those turrets, and then the Mom Smolder clearing the waves.
Ooh.
You see, just walking at threat detected.
Absolutely face tanking this flamethrower to the face. That's crazy.
Rift Herald gonna get the charge.
Oh man, with the Rift Herald too, they're just gonna deal so much damage with the Ziggs and the Rift.
Oh my god, and things are getting rough here for Cyberbullies as now the gold lead has ballooned up to 6K, and this is match point. They gotta find something. They do have their insurances in the Cal and Asol, but they gotta make it there first.
Yep, and here goes another dive with Flash. It's not quite enough. He's gonna pop down. Tower doing its thing, and we do catch Proton Plat player with a little bit of a shutdown too, so hopefully we get the comeback going.
Wonderful
bounty. Okay, we're making moves. We're making money moves here on Cyberbullies.
Yeah, I do want to point out that Janna ult was wonderful to interrupt Skarner, the grab, he would have gotten like 3 people there, but just the perfect timing keeps his team alive. Osler, really well done.
I didn't even notice that, honestly.
Yeah, it was really quick. And it could have been very scary. Yeah, it was a really nicely primed ult from Gator, but just couldn't get it across. As we see, Luitin is trying to get vision into his blue side, but it's so scary. He's trying to walk up alone, but he doesn't know where the driving could be, where this Malphite could be, where Everstock could be. I mean, showing on the top wave now, but it's really scary. The vision line here trying to establish, as they're just trying to be able to walk into their side of the map. As Baron is up, and we should see Ganking Private Ryan start putting more of their resources towards the top side of this map. We see Prissy going down to the bottom, matching threat detected. Both have TPs. Everyone has TPs now at this point in the game, so any fight that happens could quickly turn into a 5v5.
Look at this guy, The Rock.
He does not care.
The Rock and Johnson here on the bot. So, oh, what do we got up top? Mid too easy, just going down to air right now. OT Gator might as well drop to air too. Never saw in Proton Pet Player just doing the moves right now. Here comes Ryan doing it. Yeah,
can't get away. Double kill trip. That's 3. That's 3 for the side of Ganking Private Ryan, as they will start up this Drake and put Cyberbullies on the back foot. Oof. I mean, they've been on the back foot this entire game, but this feels like this feels like the nail in the coffin, as a fellow caster would say. There's no stopping this. This is just gonna go straight over.
What level is kill right now?
What level is kill right now? At 14, I think.
14.
13. Even. Oh.
13. Oh, we have a little bit of a mountain, but well, I guess. No one's 16 yet. I think that's okay. So we're right where we should be, but 3 levels until the magic happens.
I mean, I don't know if they'll have time to make it to the 3 levels, as we see the gold lead now nearly 10k, and I don't see a pathway forward for Cyberbullies to quickly get back into this game. They have to find a way to get these shutdowns, but Neverstar is just so hard to get, and we all know that pretty soon she's going to be building towards that zone. It's going to make her even more difficult. This Drake is going to go straight over. They just can't contest anything.
I don't even know what to say. I was about to say we got to start fighting for objectives right now, but I don't even know. They got the Baron buff. They're so far ahead right now. Never saw on a 550 killing spree or whatever, the 550 gold bounty. That's what I meant to say. Actually going bananas with that. So, oh man.
Right detected. Will he be able to get away?
A little bit. Flashes right over the rock wall. Doesn't even matter.
Oh my.
And we're getting sniped right on the head. Stephen Curry 4-point shot this time.
And there's just nothing he can do. He flashed the Cataclysm nicely, as he should have, but there's just too much stuff to avoid. Brissy.
Oh no.
Getting ganked by the Skarner.
Oh, what are we doing right here? Are we taking damage? Are we not? Come on, Brissy, not even the pixel's not even moving.
They're taking the base. Gator's up here 1v1ing the Malphite, and the base is being destroyed.
Brissy's like a moving base if you think about it. So. Oh, we're just dodging these hooks. Proton Flat Player with the move. Fancy with it. Might drop no, not dropping at all actually. Never saw from the corner, coming out from the bank.
As reached the 225 mark, as we saw earlier.
Yeah, we're doing true damage now. We're mini Elder Drake right now.
I think another wave, and they just gotta wait for the next couple waves.
And we are not getting hooked at all.
Mew on the top side, what's going on? Gator just keeps on winning Brissy.
Oh,
and he's winning it.
Oh, we gotta go up there for a second. Brissy, look at Brissy.
What is going on? What is like?
That's crazy.
Proton Pat player. Oh, look at the healing. They're all full health.
We're getting whittled away like a piece of wood.
Like what do you do?
Carving, a scout's carving. Look at this. They can't. Oh, no minions though.
Gator's back.
Hold on. We out of a hold the phones. Not level 16, but healthy. Very healthy.
Brissy does have TP.
No mana.
Okay, this might be the last fight.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Brissy ults one person. That might be the one person you need. Lucian cannot escape his Malphite ultis. Actually, Malphite ulti magnet.
Double kill.
Making easy, doing the thing. Hold on. There's 2. It might not. It's not gonna be enough.
That's not enough. Proton Papa Ryan never saw. They're gonna end the phase.
That's it. And we have your champions, ladies and gentlemen.
And that's it. That's going to be the final match point. It looked promising after the 3rd game for Cyberbullies, but in the fourth, they just collapsed.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful performances by both teams. You love to see it. We didn't get a 3-0. We got the 3-1. Great games. Absolutely amazing games.
Yeah, it looks like someone predicted it. Someone around here predicted it. I don't know who he is. I think he left a while ago. But 3-1 in favor of Ganking Private Ryan, your Summit Premier League Season 4 Grand Final champions. As not the favorites, they kind of came in as the underdog, showing everyone that they are not to be underestimated. Well done to them, and honorable mention to Cyberbullies for trying their hardest and making it this far. I think we're going to be moving on over to the analysts. Juan, what did you think about that game?
I mean, I think that Ziggs pick by Ryan was just so well executed. They just kept moving it around the map, and he was just taking turrets the entire time. And finally, somebody actually made use of the R5 counter pick. They picked the Malphite into the Kale, and Brizzy just stomped her head, and he was constantly ulting on her, and Kale just never got to play the game. So I think both Red Side and Ziggs were just fantastic pickups there by GPR.
I agree. I think that the game, just over the course of the game, it seemed like the series really seemed like PPP was really on top of the movements across the map. It definitely seemed like throughout the game, he knew exactly where he needed to be. He knew the objectives he needed to contest. He knew the fights he wanted to take. And he put a lot of resources this game towards the bot side, keeping that Sig strong and preventing a lot of the games from Gator. And honestly, big props to him. Big props to Neversaw for playing excellently through all these games. And yeah, Spliff, any final remarks before we cut it loose?
No, I think I said it all. Yeah, great games by both teams. That was super fun to watch. Glad I got to cast the last one. Amazing.
Yeah, and thank you all to the audience for coming here and watching this series. Please give a shout out to both these teams. They tried the best, but obviously Ganking Private Ryan, as they are the champions now, and they're gonna hopefully feeling pretty good about themselves right now. That's all here from the Analyst Decks. I have been Alsyke, my co-casters Juan and Spliff. Want to say goodbye?
Thank you guys, man. Appreciate it.
Bye guys, thank you. Thank you for tuning in.
Have a good day. Thank you.